This intro is literally never gonna get old, man. I fucking love our Extinction Curse
It's so
intro.
good.
I put so much more work and, like, I don't know. I feel like flavor and style into the Age of Ashes, but I just love the Extinction Curse. It's the music, man. Last week on our show, I was going to say close the chapter of our adventures, but I don't know that's really accurate. We're really just getting started on getting to the heart of all of the problems that have plagued Aberton. Everything that's come down on us so far seems to have originated from the druids at the Hermitage of Blessed Lightning. And last week, we fought to the heart of that. Demonic corruption, abyssal energy being bound into innocent animals. One of them, Sheol, a wolf, literally being saved midway through a ritual to be brought back with Arabis. And we rescued what appears to be one of the only druids left at the Hermitage who hadn't fallen to this corruption. Reginald Hamdeal, the head of the entire Hermitage, did seem to at least be free of the demonic influence, of any of this tainted corruption. He gave us some support, some assistance, and we had to leave him very abruptly to kind of pick up the pieces of, well, I don't know, the 3 druids maybe that he has left that are still there and we didn't murder.
We didn't leave him empty-handed, though. We gave him a flyer.
You did, and it's an important flyer because you guys had places to be. You had to take Mayor David Holden, help him back into Aberton, and hurry back as quickly as you could. Because as you arrive, passing out in various wagons, it's late moon day, the 2nd of Frost. And in just 2 days, the show is set to continue with the Circus of Wayward Wonders' 2nd performance, the encore to your critically successful opening night. But there are some, well, things need to be handled before that. First and foremost, that many of you have limped back from the Hermitage just barely alive, or even just barely conscious in some cases, and I don't believe there's even the smallest bit of magic left between Ara and Arabis to do anything to treat you. You had to pull out all of the stops to rescue Master Hamdeal. And as you came back late in the afternoon to your camp, Ylva scolding the group of you and taking Zergoff to tend to him herself. What are the rest of you going to do? Lizard Man and Zerg are particularly injured, but Selwyn and Ara are fairly hurt as well. It was quite a battle.
I thought I was basically pristine.
Are you?
I think so.
The bar over your token states otherwise.
Wait, who even hit me? I dodged that druid so many times.
I don't touch the health on your character sheet, and this thing just pulls directly from what's on your sheet, which claims that you're missing 10 of your not that much health.
Well, it's only like slightly injured.
That's like 25% to dead. That's
25% isn't that much.
Like
barely
moderately
a flesh wound.
stabbed.
Someone's had worse.
But what are you all doing? How are you all dealing with this, with what's left of the day before you have one great day of cramming preparations and practice to ready for your show the following evening?
Well, someone's gonna go to her wagon, and while tending her wounds, she will ride her magnum opus.
Well, I think Tulip's around here somewhere, and I could go get patched up by her. Oh, well, I mean, you could also. I thought you were tired. You're just saying you were tired. Are you not tired? Because, I mean...
I have no more magics, but I can still use my hands.
Okay, sure. Rub your hands on me.
Well,
girl.
I mean, you put it in that way, not so... okay, I look at you.
Okay.
So, Arabis now Having had a lot of opportunity to practice her craft with this medicine recently, I believe has become much better at dealing with wounds more rapidly. And with what's left of the evening, I think you would fairly easily be able to patch yourself and Lizard Man back up. While Zerg, off in the distance, can be tended to by Ilva. Selwyn can handle herself, and Arabis is more than capable of helping the wooden potato friend, too. So the group of you would be treated throughout the grounds, healed up, and the worst of your wounds tended to and bandaged. Certainly things that aren't going to disappear entirely overnight, and some of you are going to be performing here in 2 days. Still a bit tied up with some various wraps and poultices across your bodies, but the show must go on after all.
It's all good.
And so, we move forth to Toil Day. The morning, the dawn before the day of the show. Now, with another night here, able to properly rest in your own wagons, which is debatably not better than the bedroom that you found in the Hermitage, but still, it's somewhere you can feel at least safer, at least somewhat more comfortable. Two of you are still not feeling fantastic. Lizard Man and Arabis, you certainly have started to feel the onset of some kind of sickness as you explored the Hermitage, and sleeping away another night as you awaken the day before your show. Why don't the pair of you make me some fortitude saves?
27.
Okay.
Apparently, Lizard...
I mean,
Arabis immediately dies.
let's just
Dead.
let's just get the session reroll out of the way right out the gate. How's that? How about we just, let's just get that out of the way.
You don't want to keep the natural one?
Not with whatever this is.
No? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, that's fair, I suppose. It's fair. Lizard Man, apparently your biology here. A 1-2 is not a 1, which means not an instant critical failure, right? So it's categorically one stage better than your previous roll. Lizard Man, as you awaken, I don't know if you're just more used to this, or it's some part of just being a lizard man, being an Eruxi. This sickness doesn't seem to really be able to take any further hold on you. You awaken largely completely fine. What you experienced in the Hermitage, the coughing and the scratchy throat clearly being the worst of it. Whereas Arabis definitely seems to be going the other direction. Arabis, you awaken significantly worse for wear. In fact, rather than healing overnight, you are going to lose 10 hit points. So, you are in fairly, well, it's not necessarily dire straits, but you're clearly dramatically unwell. Overwhelmed by fatigue. Your entire body sore, exhausted, and not just from the wounds you'd suffered back in the Hermitage. This is probably among the most sick Arabis has ever been in her life.
Can I do anything to myself with my medical knowledge, perhaps?
Well, you can...
Or magically, even?
You can attempt to treat your diseases, but that is something you're going to have to spend the day doing, which means you're going to have absolutely no time to prepare for the show, and putting on your performances is going to be difficult. Not to mention, you just brought She-Hulk back.
I know. I just wanted to mingle the pups together a little bit, but now I feel like I'm dying.
treating yourself or even being treated is about a full day activity.
I mean, if it's in the morning and I feel that I wouldn't know if a certain magical treatments would assist me in beating something like this. I mean,
do you have? If you have any magic that directly affects disease.
I could prep a restoration, but I don't believe that's a thing that goes against disease.
But it is certainly something that you could try, and feeling as you are, I don't really think it would be beyond attempting anything, really.
Yeah, try it, why not?
So as you ready for the morning, the rest of you, I imagine, you would see nothing of Arabis, who would take some time longer than usual to ready her magics. And as the rest of you are getting up, feeling much better, stretching and preparing, there's a circus, there's a show to do tomorrow. Arabis is notably absent from the circus grounds.
I mean, she's often wandering around in the woods, so
And
I don't know if that would be
often
that much different than normal.
mentally absent too.
And real quick, since we got Kobe here, Zerg, you want to turn your camera off and back on again real fast? So it puts you back in the back again.
Hi, Colby.
Hi, Kobe.
I'm here to break stuff.
Yeah, you.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
you.
seem right.
You're muted, but you. There you go. There you go. All right, camera's fixed. So what are the rest of you doing? The show is literally tomorrow, and as you arrive, patched up, bandaged up as you are, most of your other fellow performers are busy readying things. Tulip tending to her snake, Bartholomew off with his whole aviary of birds. Several of your various performers patiently/impatiently arguing over who's been using the practice ring for too long, as the Flambonis, Yagi, and the Featherfall, Yagi and the Dwarven Throwers, and the Camboni family of the Featherfall 5 all kind of need the space. Even Mordrain is actually here for once.
So we need to find something that's impressive to lift. Or what do you think? Do you think that's impressive to lift? I'd be pointing out Arabis's wolf cage with the wolf in it. That's not very heavy, I guess. So me and Zerg were thinking about changing our routine a little bit. We need to find some things that are impressive but reasonable to strongman.
So, along those lines, party, after everything you've learned and all the progression you've had in the past few weeks, as 4th level adventurers now, you are much more capable, and this means you can do a lot more with your performances as well. Any of you who wish to can add a second trick check onto your act, a second skill or attack or save that you can roll, with the reminder that using 2 different checks during a performance automatically generates bonus excitement, whether or not you even succeed.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
combining mine.
Zerg was planning on doing that too.
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Though, if you want to change your trick, if you're looking to take what you had and change the skill, change the traits, change to something completely different, that is something that takes a week of downtime to plan, to set up, make preparations for, and practice.
Oh, so we can't add in the second trait. So we can't do the
You
double
can
tricks this
add
time.
the second trait just because you're getting better and improve your existing trick, but you can't change it to a completely different kind of trick without a week of downtime.
Okay, that's fine.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. So as you all prepare, Lizard Man and Zerg, you wanted to. What exactly are you looking for? Something
I was rolling in athletics last time, so we're looking for something that we could do more of a strongman. Like since we've literally talked to most people in this town, it's hard to have a suspension of disbelief that there's a monster coming out of this cage. If I've actually talked to all of them,
most of them have met you by now. That's fair.
So instead of us, the strength of me pulling out of the bars, we're gonna do the strength of something similar.
Like lifting things and
doing
strongman things.
The easiest thing I can think of is that you're kind of on the edge of some groves of trees and some forested areas, a decent amount of which your roustabouts chop down both for firewood and for support beams and just scrap wood that they need for various projects. So you could get some very hefty logs just from felling trees in the area.
Okay.
That would be easily acquired, and that seems the simplest solution.
Alright, we can do that. If that's not too different, then.
No, because you're still doing athletics, and your trait is still agile. You're not trying to change it enough that you're trying to change checks or traits, so you're fine. If you want to redesign it to the point where you start using a fortitude save instead, and not use athletics, that's a trick redesign. Or you want to not use the agile trait, you want to change it to use the animal trait, and you lift up the horse. I don't know. That's a weak redesign. You gotta get the horse trained to not go ballistic when you pick it up.
I want to do flips and shit.
So how about the rest of you? How are your preparations? The circus performance is quite literally tomorrow.
I want to go off to a professor and ask him for some belongings of thunder.
I suppose it makes sense, yes. You're taking over as ringmaster after all. Though
I would like to carry on his legacy.
If you're hoping to find much in the way of wisdom or schemata or preparations of his, I'm afraid you'll be sorely disappointed.
But what about
Thunder
top hat
was-
and a cane?
Well, that we can most certainly do.
Yes.
Would you like his jacket? I
Oh,
fear it may be too large for you, and there's little time to
we can fit
tailor
it down,
now.
right? Well, we'll figure it out for the next one. But yes, absolutely.
And he would take some keys off of his belt and take you over to his wagon, where he would unlock the big padlock on the back of Thunder's wagon. And the inside looks like it has been largely left alone. Maintained enough that it hasn't anything that was in here that would have gone bad or fallen into disrepair. He's certainly made arrangements to take care of, but the inside is pretty much exactly as it always was. It's pretty packed. You may have seen glimpses inside of Thunder's wagon before, but you've never really been around to meet him inside it. It was a very personal space to him. And looking into it, it's immediately apparent why, because it is filled nearly to the brim with personal belongings and odds and ends that it seems he'd gathered, not just from the Isle of Erin here, but from far beyond throughout the Inner-Sea regions in his travels even before he joined the circus. But not far from the cot on the side of the wagon that folds up into the wall and comes down to the center where he sleeps, underneath it, on a folded pile, would be his brightly colored jacket with shining brass buttons, black tall top hat perched atop it, with a long cane laid across the ground next to it. He would just the professor would just sort of gesture into the wagon. He'd have no better wish than to have them continued to be used for the Circus of Wayward Wonders. And with everything that's happened in this past month, Selwyn, I'm sure you'll do them proud.
I appreciate that. I'll make sure not to besmirch them. For now, I'll just grab the jacket, cane, and top hat.
The top hat itself is pretty thick. It's fairly hefty. Its light bulk alone, as it is made of a dark treated bearskin, embellished with gold leaf all around the brim and the top of whatever the top part of a top hat is called. I'm sure it has a name. I'm gonna say
And
the
it has taste.
smokestack. It is garish, but spectacularly so.
Oh, yes. The best kind.
He also has an equally extravagant and ornate bright red and gold cape that you would know was once the Great Fortunato's, Bardolph's previous owner. That he wore basically the same thing you're doing with his hat and cane to carry on his legacy. He took the Great Fortunato's cape as part of his costume after his untimely passing.
I shall also take the cape then. Will be a legacy, but I'll be the one to end it.
The cape on you is quite literally going to trail on the ground a bit
I'm not
behind.
gonna wear the jacket right now either. We'll get those fitted.
But you'll have them.
Yeah.
I would even say the hat is comedically large, perched on your head.
How do
That
you resize
almost
the
only
hat?
makes it better, really.
I mean, gnomes have big heads anyways, so
Well, that's why it
Yeah.
doesn't fall over her head and just sit on her shoulders.
Have you seen her curly hair? I mean, she'd need a humongous head to like fit over all that hair.
yeah.
That's fair. How about Arabis, Ara? How are your preparations?
Arabis?
Well, I feel like I'm dying, so I mean, there's not a whole lot.
Arabis,
sort
how
of
is
want-
your... Well, let's start with Ara then,
Okay.
as you prepare for your show tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow
Ara's,
evening.
Ara's not really preparing once again. In fact, since he's gotten back to camp, he's been perched near where the main road will lead into the camp, where people would come to the circus to view. He's been perched there, watching and waiting, like the past
Suddenly
few
kind of
days.
starting to come together what happened with his previous act, vis-a-vis complete lack of practice. But,
Yeah, just it's all coming together. No practice makes best. It looks like he's just waiting.
you would
Not
certainly be able to see that the tent now was being fully erected. The massive big top going up. Much of what the workers that you have along the Circus of Wayward Wonders are committed to today. Making sure the stands are all prepared and ordered and braced, and the big top itself is pitched and ready, as your sideshow are going to have to leave quite early in the morning to head into town for the final day's hype. They're all going to be, other than the professor, who is around to kind of help with things here, he sort of runs the stuff. Ilva, Sig, Hesper, and Midas, Cubby, they're all going to be off in town today and tomorrow, getting their last bits of promotion and trying to give the show the best possible chance. And Arabis, in your wagon, feeling like utter death, a terrible fever, waking up and near a pool of your own sweat.
I would try the restoration. I don't know if it's going to work, but
It's better to try than nothing, though.
yeah.
And with a incantation and some of the most powerful magic that you can muster, the restoration has no effect whatsoever on whatever this ailment is gripping you. This is absolutely no relief. And in fact, the effort that has to be put into even the somatic component, the incantation of the minute-long spell, is draining.
Oh boy. Okay, well, as I have learned in the circus, the show must go on, and I will drag myself if I have to get Masako and Shiol and go out into the woods and practice the routine. And Shiol could watch it, and they could socialize and get acquainted and all that. if I don't just drop dead out there practicing.
So as the day passes, are there any final preparations that any of you need to make before the show tomorrow?
I would have gone into the city to help promote.
Fair
Need
enough.
oil.
Well,
Make sure you
make
save-
sure we don't
Make-
meet the same problems we had previously.
Make sure you share.
If
But for most of you, the rest of the day would pass with practice, with some small disagreements. Tensions not nearly as high as they were with your opening night, as you've already had a great proven success. And even some of the townsfolk coming by to watch as the big tops assembled with cheers and applause as the great canvas goes over the top of the two massive beams between your three rings. At some point in the early afternoon, Selwyn in town promoting Arabis in the woods. So it'd be Ara Lizard Man or Zerg that would be the ones found. The mayor himself, David Holden, would come back into town. And Ara, as you're the one watching the road, I imagine you would be the first he would come up to. And with no hat, you can see he has a much different one, a much simpler faded traveling hat. He'd take off and tip to you. Ara! Good sir, I believe is the appropriate name. No offense, lad, but I'm kind of unsure of how to address you. Never been acquainted with a creature such as yourself.
You address me however you wish.
Nice and simple. Easy. Just as I like it. Ara, I owe you and your friends the whole damn circus, honestly. Not only my life, but possibly the life of the town. I've heard more of the mornings of all the troubles you and your friends have been solving. That the muggers have all but been ran off. Seem to have entirely disappeared. I spoke with Joseph at the cathedral about what you did for him. Saving him from his internment at the hands of the demons. You've chased off all sorts of animals and errant wildlife. More strange creatures of fire, air, and water. The tales going throughout the town are as astounding as your show itself. And he reaches into a bag that he's kind of carrying and pulls out a fairly large red velvet purse drawn together with a white ribbon. Here! And tosses it to you.
Both hands, look at it. Open it up real fast and look inside. What's this?
It lands with a pretty hefty jingle, and you can open it up to see a stack of gold coins inside. That's for my personal funds. As much as I could really muster without the wife coming down on me too hard. 40 gold pieces for the group of you. Now, I'd appreciate it if you didn't let too much of that get out into town itself. Some of this, may raise questions as to what could have gone into infrastructure, roads, things that could have helped the people, but can't imagine anyone that's done more than you and your friends have. And you've certainly earned it.
I don't understand any of that, but okay. I'll make sure someone gets it.
Do, my good friend. And I had a meeting earlier with Rickert Hofton, one of the millers. You saved him as well. I have to say, I don't know if anyone in Aberdeen would even still be alive if the Circus of White Wonders hadn't had the town within, well, at least a week of when it had. You've been busy.
Yeah, we are kind of wonderful, aren't we?
He was looking to source drinks, and I figure that's something I can help with. The Mad Bug Tavern on the south end side. Much more friendly sorts, much more easy to reach out to, and much happy about their operations now that most of the muggers have up and left. Everything in order here, I believe they'd be more than happy to provide for your show tomorrow. Consider it around on the house, as they say.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, but okay. I'll tell someone that as well.
Where is your know, Miss Friend, anyway? Practicing, I assume. I don't want to be much of a bother.
I think she walked into town. I saw her pass by here.
Promoting then. I saw some of your friends. That, talking dog of yours.
Cubby's such a good boy.
So he seems. Bit disconcerting hearing the voice of a man coming out of the body of a dog, but
Oh, you hear the
certainly
voice of a
interesting.
man. You hear the voice of a person coming out of a leaf. So
Yeah, but you're at least, well, a human figure, largely. More of an animate doll. Parlor tricks wizards would do. No offense, of course. It's something more understanding, but a dog with the mind of a human. It's a bit... just
Pretty-
gives me the willies, is all. The kids love him, though.
so do we.
Well, best of luck
That's
with
what
your
we should.
performances tomorrow, Aura. I'll be there front and center.
See you then.
So if
Sit
you want
back
to
down on the ground.
throw 40 gold into the party loot there, that's to you personal. I mean, you can add it to the circus funds. Of course, you can add anything to the circus funds if you so wish, but a debt paid from a thankful mayor. And the rest of the day passing largely without incidents. Sentiments in the town fairly high, and as a reminder from second to first edition, that's pretty much the equivalent of 400 gold being handed over by the mayor, as everything's largely been scaled down by a factor of 10 with the new silver standard. That's a pretty penny that David Holden scraped together to pay a lot of you.
Man, David Holden. I always knew I liked him.
Arabis, in the woods, at some point as you're introducing your two wolves, Sheol seems to be a very cautious sort. You can definitely tell working with him that he has an incredible strength. What manner of magic the rituals worked on him, and not entirely clear. But he is a powerhouse of an animal. And more
was a
than
she-
receptive to your communications. What were you
Oh,
saying?
I thought she was a she.
Oh, she's a she. My bad.
Oh, okay. I was just clarifying.
No, I just screwed up. She's more than receptive to your commands and your teachings. That said, she does seem to be quite shy with Misako. Almost seeming to not really understand the basic mannerisms and communications of a pack. How is Misako? What is that also a she? What is her background?
It's a him, actually.
That's a him. I got them both wrong. I'm 0 for 2.
Good job.
I think he's been with me since the when we were with the menagerie.
So, being a
randomly-
menagerie animal,
yeah.
they probably both have no real idea of how wolves are supposed to interact. Neither of them has any clue how this is supposed to go. And it's led to more than a couple of tense interactions between your wolves. But it's nothing that you can't handle. It's just certainly going to take a bit of time and training before you can really get them properly friendly with each other. At a certain point in the afternoon, you would realize that this sickness is really physically drained on you to the point where, like, you should probably tend to yourself just with traditional medicine, even beyond the treating the disease itself.
Oh boy.
It's caused you to become so weakened, and it seemed to take a physical toll, almost manifesting with what seemed in the morning to be some rashes now opening into visible, painful sores. So you do have 10 damage on you that you should probably tend to.
Yeah, I would take a break, lean against a tree, sit down, and tend to myself.
So give me your medicine check.
Okay.
I mean, critical failures exist.
I am on a... Okay.
Well,
okay.
I mean, the good news is you can hit the train DC on a 3 now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you restore 2d8 health to yourself, which may largely patch it back up.
Mostly, yeah.
8. But as you tend to your wounds, you realize the skin is so soft and weak around them, it's challenging to treat. You only heal for 4.
Oh no.
This disease is impacting you to the point where it's even difficult to heal yourself, and were you to become wounded or injured from some source, it would be twice as difficult to mend.
I'll probably go see Selwyn. I am in trouble, I think. I
you would've known Selwyn. You what?
I just signal to the wolves and start meandering my way back to the tent.
You get back to the tent in the afternoon around when Selwyn's heading back from promoting. The first really anyone has seen of you today, and Selwyn, it would be immediately apparent as Arabis comes trudging up to you. Slick with sweat, face dark.
You okay there, Gray?
I don't think so. No.
Right. So, what's wrong, buddy?
Well, that's the that's the problem. I'm not entirely sure, and my magic don't work. My skin is really oh boy. Selwyn, help, please.
Well, you're more well versed in the area of medicine than I am. I'm not really sure what you want me to do.
I don't know.
Are you sure you have no magic that will help? Nothing?
Well, nothing that I can think of. I tried a few things.
That ain't great.
You know, you're really not making me feel much better.
Well, I'm sorry. It's.
I think I need to lay down.
All right, I hope it helps.
I will just probably lay down next to Masako's cage.
Just deciding to crash for the rest of the evening with really nothing else you can do. This sickness, incredibly virulent and debilitating. You end up resting for the remainder of the day, the afternoon into the evening. What are you rolling over here, Ara?
Who knows? There's.
Just rolling some dice.
I clicked a button.
Oh, okay. I was still looking at Arcana check out. I'm like, what's going on, buddy? What you doing?
I forgot to change some stuff. There's no option for one of the feats I got that gives me half my level to everything I'm untrained in. So I have to manually input it.
Okay, fair enough. I just clicked the button on accident. I was just like, what's going on over there, Chief?
I'm making an Arcana check to figure out what's wrong with Arabis. That sounds right.
So Arabis ending up laying down in the tent, now under the shelter of the canvas, with the sound of preparation around her. Ends up just kind of crashing for the rest of the day. And as the rest of you finish your preparations with a hearty meal and some rest for the evening, Wheel Day. Wheel Day for Rast the 4th is upon us. And everyone, with the last few hours of preparation, everyone running around with your hair on fire, trying to make sure everything's in order, all the supplies are together, and everyone's ready. Backstage, everyone comes together. It's time for another performance, ladies and gentlemen. But now the city already knows what to expect. They've already seen your opening nights. They are already beyond excited about what the Circus of Wayward Wonders can bring to the table. And as the sun heads towards the horizon, afternoon carries on, and people start to get admitted to the tent. You can see coins rolling in to your roustabouts and your sideshow collecting. Behind, at backstage, everyone's readying for the main acts, whatever may be necessary. And as time for curtain gets closer, you notice, though the excitement in the tent is pretty high, everyone seems to be more than excited. Everyone already knows you've proven yourselves. A fair amount of people have turned and returned back to their homes in Eberton. Possibly more than you would have thought or expected. It's not quite as full a house this afternoon, but it's still fairly packed. Does somebody, I suppose it would be most appropriate as Selwyn, as your new ringmaster, want to roll me a d12?
Just a D12?
Uh-oh.
Just a d12.
Sure thing, buddy. Stop.
Wow. Okay. So you already, with the temporary upgrades that you can obtain, if you want it, beer is going to be provided for the show automatically.
Yes.
The town will certainly bring that in. Did you want any other temporary upgrades for the show? The only other one that you could pick up would be confections, which would let you start with some bonus excitement at the beginning. Because heading into the show, a happy crowd, and very quickly, a drunken crowd, is going to provide additional 8 anticipation. Raising the bar for this show to 28. Near double the anticipation of your opening night.
How much gold is that?
Confections are 15 gold out of the circus funds to provide you with 2d6 excitement as well.
I think we can handle it. I'll bet on that.
So with preparations made, something you could have arranged while you're in town, take 15 gold off of the circus loot sheet and then go ahead and roll me 2d6. You're already starting at 1 excitement due to the successful, or just say you can handle without it, like you don't want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. I thought we could handle it. We can handle like we can handle a 15 gold loss. I interpreted that backwards. What you meant. Never mind. So you are starting at 1 excitement already, carried over from your successful finale on the previous show, and as a bonus addition, your anticipation is super high, thanks to how well you did previously and everything that has happened throughout the town. All of the things that you have done. And thanks to your showdown with the Celestial Menagerie last week,
Yeah.
you get an additional 6 excitement. So you're starting at 7.
Nice.
You're coming to this one stacked. And as the time for curtain comes, as every performer knows, no matter how much you prepare, there is always something that goes wrong. There's always something that just doesn't work as it's supposed to. But today, performers, Circus of Wayward Wonders, it seems like the stars have truly aligned.
Except for the
The
fact that
attitude-
Arabis is dying.
You what?
Except for the fact that Arabis is dying.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
that.
get to that. We'll get to that. It seems that the stars have truly aligned. The general attitude, the excitement in Aberton is so high, the DCs for all tricks this show will be reduced by 2. 10 on a D12 is the only positive random event.
Oh, nice. Good job, me.
Good job, you.
Wow.
But while all is great for the show, Arabis, why don't you roll me a fortitude save for this particular wheel day afternoon?
I believe in you. You can
We're
do
looking
it.
for big numbers here. Big
Yeah,
numbers.
big numbers.
I'm your good luck charm.
Oh, well, that makes me feel a lot better.
Just rub Aura's head.
Oh,
That's not bad.
A 19 feels pretty nice.
With a 19, you definitely do feel in a better state than you had yesterday. It seems the worst may have passed, though you are still definitely sick. You still got a fairly bad cough, and your throat feels raw. The world is not spinning. You don't feel on the verge of collapse anymore. Last
fantastic.
check before we head into the show. Does anybody want to take up a non-performer role? The crowd out there does seem happy, but also very, very drunk. And anyone who's performed at all knows that could potentially be a problem if somebody isn't on guard to deal with them.
Well,
Huddle around the main crew. All right, gentlemen, ladies, it's showtime. I have an idea for how we'll handle this. I feel like I can go on the opening act once more. Lizard Man, sir, you'll be the heavy-duty bodyguards in case people get rowdy during my performance, and for the rest of the show, I'll make sure to keep tabs on everything as people are performing.
okay. Sounds like a plan.
So, to do a non-performer role, you cannot perform. You can't
Oh.
tag out a non-performer role. No, because that's the logically yes, the mechanical downside for the balance of the circus mechanics is you are occupied with that the entire time. It's difficult. There's a lot that goes into doing your trick and readying and preparation that you can't just walk out of the ring and go tag out someone and go do that. Anyone who wants to do a non-performer role cannot also do a trick in the show. There's a lot of crowd here to deal with.
Right. That seems odd.
Well, I guess we'll just have to hope for the best.
Gray, do you think you could handle that? You weren't looking too hot yesterday. You want to sit this one out and make sure the crowd doesn't go too wild?
I don't feel the greatest, but I like to perform, Selwyn. I mean,
Well,
I'll do it
I
if
can
you
sit
want
this
me
out,
to.
and then
But
Zig can go be muscle man over there.
That would work too. How do you
That would
feel
work.
about it?
I'm a tall, scary guy.
he is
Yeah.
tall and scary. But
Like big
what
scary lizard.
what would I
Yeah.
do if the drunks get upset? I mean,
Well, no, you'd perform, and I would go be a tall, scary guy.
I could hit them with lightning, but that would probably
No,
kill
that would be a bad
yeah.
idea. We don't want to.
I can keep my eyes out for any dastardly looking, nasty boys. Yes, I'm sorry, very exhausted from looking around at the oils. But I can keep track of these things.
No.
Right.
No, okay. All you guys go do your show thing, and I'm going to go be mean and scary.
All right. That works for me. Sark, do you think you can pull off your act alone?
So,
Sark?
Sorry.
Mr. Monster Man?
Like I say, exhausted. I can perform anything alone. I'm the greatest. It's fine.
Perform anything alone, huh?
Except when Ulva's around, if you know what I'm talking about.
Hey.
Oh
Wink.
my!
Recovery. So Lizard
Hey,
Man
Coco.
will take the role of security guard this performance to make sure the crowd does not get too drunk. And as the curtain lifts and the show begins, Selwyn, your new ringmaster, strikes out.
Thank you. And these fine people here haven't come to see the same old shit they saw last time. Obviously, with my new power, my new strength, there will be updates. And I would initiate a juggle. Not just any normal juggle, but one that I have finally crafted on my own to the point where it's almost a feat of its own.
Okay.
While I'm doing that, while these things are flying in the air, I'll do somersaults, backflips, just flying around acrobatically. Also, I would be performing without my armor on, so I don't have
Okay.
the...
I would assume you probably would not bring your armor check
Yeah.
penalty and carrying armor to do your circus trick.
Exactly.
So as you flip and twirl as your trick begins, not just juggling, but flipping all about the center ring as you do. Want to make me your first trick check?
Yes, which will be Acrobatics. This will be 1 higher. I will use my session reroll because that's
One.
Good start.
She
What's
trips.
the
A knife
check?
impales her. You are level
check is-
4. The trick DC is now 19. However,
with
the
minus
stars
2.
have aligned, so it is 17, which is exactly the thing that you rolled.
Treading the line.
So
Exactly as I planned.
you head out, and with a, I should probably just get like, it's probably easier to honestly track this with a freaking index card and a pencil. With a successful performance, you immediately generate 4 excitement. Your performance now leagues beyond what you had done at the opening night. You've been hardened in the forge of almost getting murdered repeatedly,
Yep.
bringing the total excitement up to 11.
And to crown my act, the swords shall come down. These short swords, all of my Clara Carl, all of them, and simply disappear into my various clothes. Some of them I'll catch with my legs, some I'll catch with my arms. And I shall draw in at the end with a thievery check.
So for your switch here, raising the bar, you immediately gain 1 excitement, bringing you to 12. And then your trick is agile, so at a -4 for the second
Indeed.
check.
Which is a 30, so a 26. Unfortunate
Just-
one
just-
off.
Just almost a critical success, but not quite. Still, however, a phenomenal performance that would almost literally have been beyond imagining during the opening night with how effectively and how skillfully you can carry yourself. As all these knives return to you, the crowd cheering wildly for not only the performance, but for what most of them now know to be the hero of Aberton, demonstrating her expertise. 16 excitement after the opening act. And as Selwyn returns to the backstage behind the curtain, Lizard Man, surprisingly busy putting out drunken heckler fires throughout the crowd here. The DC for the rest of the show for everyone else's trick will be reduced further to 16 for your level 4 tricks. A -1, bringing you to a -3 on your trick DCs the rest of the show. It is
And-
time now for the build-up. 2
That's how it's
acts in the right and the left rings.
All right. I will choose Arabis and Mordrain.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you'd build up.
Ridiculous! I'm the main event! I'm the big ticket!
Excuse me, do you see me out there?
I'm sorry. Need I remind you of our opening night, upon whose beautiful shoulders our performance was so easily carried?
Thank you. They're
Anzu!
not that beautiful, but I've been trying.
Oh, I thought it was about me.
No,
Anzu!
she's talking. You see these shoulders? She talk about me.
Speak
not
to
you.
this
Come
woman. I'm heading to my wagon for a moment to collect my thoughts. And as she turns the storm off, Anzu kind of sidles over and looks up at you.
I'll merely say either you perform now or you don't perform at all.
So, you can make me an intimidate or diplomacy
That would be an
check?
intimidate.
Yeah, you can intimidate her.
Yo, Salmon's crazy.
I'm rerolling it. I'll spend my hero point for that one.
Wow, the rolls
Or
today,
23.
guys.
Yeah, it's getting out there quickly.
But they, 23, as you call it, she stops. Anzu, as he goes to speak, also stops. Are you serious?
Of course, that behavior belongs nowhere, especially not when we were part of her team.
And Mordrain just slowly turns around, seething, to look at you. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. What?
I think you did. I think you heard me perfectly clear with those. What was it?
Here's
Beautiful
the-
ears of yours.
He turns towards the curtain, hearing the cheering of the crowd. You know what? Fine. As I have no competition at the moment, all focus will certainly be on me, and you seem to have warmed them up adequately. Get my tank! My things! We're going!
That's
And-
fucking right, bitch.
Mordrain heads out into the left ring, shooting a glare towards Arabis as she comes out through the curtain. And as the second act begins, Arabis! What do you do?
Okay, so even before we get into the ring, I'm gonna cast obscuring mist out there in my ring, so there's some fog and stuff. I want to get out there, so they can't really see me get out there. Is the idea? Okay. And as the fog like dissipates, I think it's a minute long, something like that.
It lasts a minute, yeah.
It would have been set up during the time off. But as the fog dissipates enough to where you could just barely see through it, I'm inside a wooden cage on both knees, looking down at a wooden crown made of dark woods. Slowly beginning to dance with the music, using the cage as part of the act. Primal yet graceful moves. Moving with ease, escaping the cage, climbing quickly up to the top of it, standing proud. And then a snarl, effortlessly tumbling down the cage to a hunched over position, standing on the ground. Almost a flex, showing off her strength. Masako rushing from the stage right. I don't even lift a head to see him. Comes running up from my right side. He heels before me. Reach down to touch his face, and he pulls away. As he does, grinning with excitement, the dance begins. So, I mean, I guess I would roll there.
You may have wanted to roll before. You beautiful flavor, we'll see.
Stop it.
Hopefully the dice side
Yes.
with you this day, comrade.
I'm not
He has
sick
6
anymore.
rerolls.
Yeah, you only have a billion.
Well, I don't have 6 anymore.
Yeah,
so.
he doesn't. He's only got 200 points left.
What did I use last time?
Holy
Nature?
shit, you
You
used so
spent a
many.
ton.
I think I used nature last time.
Whatever.
And
You
your
got
nature gets
this.
your nature trait gets a +1 because you have the animal trait.
Correct. Boom.
That'll do it.
Easy.
That's 19.
With a 19, as your performance begins exactly as you'd said, effortlessly,
Okay.
generating 4 excitement. Mordrain begins hers as well. The tank being somewhat hastily rolled out to the left ring here, and as she ascends the small stepladder again, performing flourishes, almost the dance as well, as she is shackled and lowers herself into the cage. Her performance miming her peril as she feels against the glass walls and begins performance. Making her fortitude save.
I'd like to get a quick word in with Aura. State's only gonna get better if she drowns.
Well, she does fail.
I hope she doesn't drown.
With a 12, all of her current, rage, general mental state. Certainly not a, well, certainly not a critical failure, but a regular failure. She doesn't really prepare herself as well as she could and doesn't get a great breath as she goes under, and you can kind of tell a bit that she's sort of hastening her act to the get out of the tank part. And Wolf,
no.
13 red here, with 5,000 bits yeeted forth. Time for my wolf druid. Gotta help my people. You get a 3rd hero point. Should be 36.
I'm
2
the
actions remaining. What are you doing?
you were talking to me.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if Mordrain was drowning or not, if I should continue.
No, a critical failure would be drowning. She a regular failure, so she's just having to kind of do a hastened performance. It's like, you're definitely stealing the spotlight here.
I should definitely roll before I do my next thing, essentially.
If you could give like an introduction to what you're trying to do and then roll and then narrate how it goes, because that would be a damn shame to put all this great play around and then critically fail at each shit.
All right. Okay, so
a good habit to get into for all rolls, really.
Yeah, we take turns almost pursuing each other throughout the dance.
Oh, that is 5,000. Holy crap, that's not 500. That's a fuckload of bits. Hey, you want to just have an entire bag again?
Yeah, give me a bag, please. I'll take a bag. Thank you.
I was off by a factor of 10 and how many bits that was. That's 5,000 bits. You just take a stack. Just take a stack, my dude.
Appreciate it. Probably gonna need them. So we take turns pursuing each other throughout the dance. My move's almost animal-like at times, and his move's almost human. So we can roll there before I continue. I guess acrobatics would be my second one. I never really did the second one.
It's whatever you want to have as your second trick trait, because you can't really change this between shows.
Yeah.
If you want to be acrobatics or perform, or really it's whatever you want to attach to it. Checks, if you can think of even a half good reason to use that skill, it's good. It's meant to be used with the skills that you're good at. Traits have to be your act centered around them. So you can absolutely use acrobatics if you want.
Well, I mean, acrobatics are survival. I mean, I don't know.
Sure. You're acting like a wolf. Survival. It's literally like, if you're going to give any excuse to roll it for a trick check, it's meant to be with your good skills used on it.
Cool.
It's at the, level DC.
You know, I mean, I got to find a reason to use survival. I rolled enough medicine.
There you go.
That's true.
Does that even roll? Oh,
There you go.
24. Ooh.
24. Your trick is not agile, so it's at a -5, so it's another 19.
Okay.
Which is going to be another success, bringing you to 20 for excitement. Go ahead and continue.
All right. The dance crescendos with a movement where I slide on both knees, hands back behind me, as Masako comes from the other direction and jumps over me, landing on the ground the other side, sitting up, looking towards him, as he turns and walks away off stage right again. Reaching after him in his direction, after a moment, slowly turning to the crowd with sadness on her face. Looks away from them and turns into a black wolf and follows him off the stage.
All right. And as you retire back behind the curtain to near riotous applause here, the crowd absolutely on your side. Mordrain continues her act, turning quickly back away from the crowd, foregoing some of her normal performative acts in the tank itself, as, again, didn't get a great breath. Kind of hastening just the getting out and returning to out of the tank of water. And... with a natural 1,
Is she gonna need help?
Oh no!
something is wrong.
Does she die?
As Arabis retreats, you guys can tell.
Do I notice it?
At first, you think you saw wrong, like, oh, she's doing pretty good. She's really making this one last. But her movements slowly start to become more panicked, as she seems unable to get the shackles off of her wrists. And as she turns back around towards the crowd, at the moment they're still digging it, thinking this is the similar stepping up of the act here. She reaches, her hands locked together, up towards the bars, trying to almost stand up in her tank to just push up against the top of it. With her hands shackled, she can't get to it to undo it like she normally would. And then she turns back towards the curtain, pounding on the glass, her eyes wide.
break the bat.
Can I go run? I'm near there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You are constantly busy dealing with drunken hecklers.
Oh, okay. That's all I can do. Okay.
You have no downtime. You are busy for the entire show dealing with very drunk people who, as the crowd is very much starting to realize that she's actually stuck. And little, well, concerned, the crowd sort of falls a bit silent. The mood lowers a bit. You guys are gonna lose one excitement.
Can I run out and break the glass?
You, Selwyn, as you go to head out, you do have your team of clowns with you, and your circus troupe heads out as well. Your clowns coming out to try to cover for something that is very clearly going wrong. And as they bolt out along with you, running towards the center, dancing, prancing around, tumbling, using their shenanigans to sort of obscure the vision of the cage as best they can, as one climbs up on top, miming only for a second before actually unlatching the cage and letting it out and reaching down to drag Mordrain's half-conscious body out from the tank. And
I'll stop myself from grinning while I'm doing it.
with one last check,
Oh,
well, she's hardy, I'll give her that.
yeah.
As she gets out of the tank, she's able to recover fairly quickly and is not going to suffer a lasting injury that prevents her from performing.
Her fucking arrogance keeps her up.
That's fantastic.
What a hero.
Oh, perfect.
Gasping for breath, refusing to accept her failure. She will be fine for next show. And Zindern! Wolf13 read in the chat has acquiesced to your request. The 1,000 bits, I got you. 2 hero points loaded up for you.
So all it takes a little bacon.
All you gotta do is panhandle. And that the sending in the clowns is going to undo that critical failure, turning into a regular failure. So her performance is simply going to be lukewarm, generating no excitement. But with 2 failures and 2 successes, the successful build-up is going to generate additional anticipation equal to the level of one of the tricks performed. So you can choose to raise your anticipation by 2 from Mordrain's trick, or 4 from Arabis's. You're currently at 24 excitement and 27 anticipation with 2 eggs.
I think
tricks to go.
We increase it by 4.
31 anticipation. Also generating a bonus for the big number of a +2, half of Arabis's trick level. As the crowd sees Mordrain helped out of the ring, she's all right. Gasping for breath, sopping wet, her trick cut a bit short. More performance of the clowns. Zindern's day made. That's everything he wanted.
Oh,
Really is.
Mordrain to drown in her tank.
I've
Oh, no,
literally
I'm-
never seen Zindern so happy in my whole
Oh, I know about that.
like this type of just like plain excitement is just
I'm more
unheard of.
excited than the crowd.
Mordrain and Anzu leave the tent as she hurries back to her wagon. Anzu following behind some of the clowns, a little concerned, being physically pushed away from her as she stomps her way out of the tent.
I wanted to see the rest of the performance. Fuck, my plan's ruined.
It's time for the big number.
All right, you're up.
Oh boy.
Go for it, man! You can do it.
Ara?
All right. Well, I don't remember if we set the stage properly for my last trick, and we failed horrendously before we can do anything. So I walk up. They get my two tight ropes. Remember, 2 tight ropes, 3 feet apart, up in the air, about 15 feet. And as I'm walking up, I quickly cast Jump on myself and jump 30 feet up into the air and land on one. I'm going to do my first trick check now with the 3
You
rings of fire in the middle.
Cannot use the benefit from spells to aid in your trick check.
That's fine.
You can
It's
cast a
just-
spell for like flavor, but if it gives you like a
Yeah.
bonus to acrobatics you want to use,
No,
you can't
no.
actually use
It
that.
literally just lets
Okay.
me jump 30 feet up
Then
in
you're
the
good.
air.
You're good then.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
it.
I'm not sure what jump does, so it's just double
Yeah,
checking.
it just says jump 30 feet in the air.
Selwyn, as the ringmaster, Ara's trick takes a moment of setup with the center ring being ready with his tight ropes, and as he's heading out and preparing the spell on himself, you gonna hype the crowd for your big number here?
Oh, yes.
You got ringmaster duties, boy.
Yeah, sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you have come for the true act you fought last time. This little potato plant was a great failure. I say nay. It was merely a setup, a ruse, all in order to prepare for this one grand performance. I present to you Aura.
And as he leaps 30 feet up onto his twin tight ropes, and you bow out of the ring. Ara.
So the beginning of my act on the one tightrope is going to look a lot like the beginning of someone's opening act. I'm pantomiming juggling, and I'm going to roll a will check. I'm going to do a saving throw on this one. So,
A will save?
mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have
For
a
a
plus.
Oh,
Two.
For
no.
27.
Oh my
You have a
god.
plus 2 from the successful build-up. So you have a 29 for an easy, wild, critical success. The first of the show. Ara, what do you do?
As I'm pantomiming someone's opening act, acting like I'm juggling, during her flips and her tumbles on the tightrope, I come up to the first flaming hoop that is stationed between the two tightropes, and I jump through it with ease. I look back and I yell out, "That wasn't good enough!" And then I jump through it again, and then jump through it one more time, getting ready for the second part.
And are you gonna continue performing?
Yes.
Remind me, does your trick have the agile trait, or has the
No,
fire trait?
It
Right?
has the fire trait.
Right.
The hoops are on
So-
fire.
The second trick check will be at a -5, but with the plus 2, only a -3 total.
And for this part, as soon as I land on the second rope, I start imitating Arabis's dance as if the wolf was there. And I'm going to use intimidation with a +1 from it being a fire.
And immediately, just only at a -2 total then, immediately generating excitement for your second check.
For a 25. With a -2, 23.
23 easily succeeds.
And I go through the dance. I go through the rough dance. It's not as perfect as hers. It's recognizable as me just copying what I saw earlier. And I get to the crescendo part, and that is look. I jump through the second hoop, and then I bow forward and this fall to the left off the tightrope, and I'm going to end my act there.
It purposely falls off.
Yeah, purposely falls off.
Dropping off, landing, the small little bush baby he is. The crowd cheering wildly behind you. Absolutely, easily a successful big number. Generating a bonus for excitement for a successful act. You're heading into the finale coasting. Additional anticipation from your critical success has now put the show at 33 anticipation and 37 excitement. Heading into the finale, the 3-ring performance. All the acts going at once. Weirdly, if you critically fail and everyone shits their pants everywhere, perhaps the show is a critical success. But
It's our
I
last
mean-
performance here. This was what we wanted.
an easy, successful night in the bag. Who's taking the 3 rings for the final show?
Zerg, obviously.
Yeah.
And who else wants to go? The floor is yours if you want it.
Tulip's more than happy to perform.
Right.
She's always good to get out there and of the group that is there, who didn't get to go in the first one?
The Featherfall
the
5.
sisters.
The Featherfall 5 and the Flamboni sisters. I think neither of them performed in your opening
In that
night.
case, I'll pull back Tulip because she performed last, right?
She did perform last time, yeah.
Right. I'll send
So
those
we'll
to
use all our resources here. The tightrope's already together for the Featherfall 5, but lowered because they perform just off of the ground.
Yeah.
And the Flamboni sisters lighting their torches and heading off into the left ring. Let us lead with Zerg!
Before they go on, I'll say, do what you want. Have fun. It's all coasting from here.
Fun. You think performance is fun?
Yes.
This is why we do so well last time. This is fine. This is not about fun. This is about performance. It's very serious. Where is my oil? Anybody see my oil? I'm panicking. Somebody get me my oil.
I hand
thought you used
him
it
2 bottles of oil.
2 bottles, good enough, whatever. Coat my entire self in the oil. This is fine, whatever. Okay, let's go. Hero of the show, everybody. Let's do this. Okay.
All right, Zerg. As you stride out into the ring to begin your act.
The most flexiest flex that has ever been flexed under this tent. Letting out a monstrous roar to the crowd. Yes! Zerg the Monster Man is here! And prior to me coming out, I assume just a bunch of heavy shit has been put in my...
Yeah. Ring's prepped.
Just shit everywhere. You see here, this barrel, which presumably is empty, full of cannonballs, heavier than anything you've ever seen before. Watch as I lift it and go to attempt to just sort of juggle this, like throwing this barrel to myself.
Okay. So I believe you had an unarmed strike was your original trick check. And
Yes.
given the two of you, I'm just going to assume athletics is the one that you want to add on.
Oh yeah.
Give me a roll.
16.
A 16 succeeds. Good news, the stars have aligned for this performance. Raising your excitement to 41. Meanwhile, in the middle, the Featherfall 5. I mean, it's good news that you're the only one bellowing and shouting here because the other performances are largely silent as the parents of the family begin. Their performance initially fairly simple, graceful, gymnastic upon the lines. And they are going to make their first check here. And easily critically succeed.
Oh, man.
They are quite practiced at what they do, raising your excitement and your anticipation each by 1. They're only a level 1 trick. And on the other side of the ring, the Flamboni sisters, trying to do much the same, keeping the pace here. As their trick, you know, while it does involve juggling, is a bit less dangerous than it may appear. Almost as much sleight of hand as it is proper juggling, making their deception check, starting their act each individually, juggling unlit batons. Sort of warming up, literally, with a burning barrel between the two of them. Easily succeeding. Zerg!
Yes. For this one, I need a little crowd participation. And I want to just point at 2 random people in the crowd. Come and join me. I need 2 brave people.
Are you
The
pointing at
mayor.
the people directly in front of you?
Yes.
Because I believe that's the mayor,
Brilliant.
and that's Joseph Drend, Priest of
Brilliant.
Avedar.
Brilliant. You 2, come over here.
Front of the stands! They'll step
And I'm-
forward, both more than familiar with your capabilities, and owing you, well, their literal lives. The cleric now looking much better, the swelling on his face almost having wholly retracted, just leaving some deep, fairly dark scars and some bandages still around. He looks a little
These
fragile.
two men who I've never seen before in my entire life. You look very important, talking to the mayor. And also very buff and very strong. But I believe I'm stronger than you.
The mayor laughs a bit and
wanna-
just kind of nods, waiting.
I want to lift the mayor over my head. From his
All
feet,
right.
cheerleader style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to use athletics again, or do you want to use your attack roll?
I don't want to attack him. Let's athletics that with 18.
18 is your trick is agile, so it's going to be at a -4, which is going to give you a 14 for your second performance of the act. That is going to fail.
Oh, I can't quite pick him up? How far do I get?
It's up to you. It's not a critical failure, but it's a failure. You don't lose excitement, you just don't generate any.
Okay, so as I try and sort of lift him up over my head, I fumble a little bit, like, but being the performer that I am, I sort of loosen my grip and let him just fall onto my shoulder.
Yeah, there you go. Way to save
Feel
it.
a little more like a child. He's sitting on your shoulder. And a little thirsty.
Can I do anything else?
You have one more action. We can.
I'm going to pick up the other guy and put him on my other shoulder. If I can.
If you want to take another action, it's at a -8. If you want to do that as part of this action, you can end the show however you want. You can do as much as you want with one roll here.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, however I can end up with both of them on my shoulders just to recover from dropping the guy.
So you got the mayor and the deacon of Abadar up on your shoulders before the crowd. Aberton, though the trick's not particularly impressive, obviously more than happy, and clearly an example being set here by both of them being more than willing to aid into your trip, or into your trick. The Featherfall 5.
Ready.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna tell the clowns to get ready.
The Featherfall 5 continuing their act as the rest of the family joins in with the tightrope, and they start to perform together. Their actions more almost a team here, supporting each other, tumbling, twirling, flipping across both the two wires and the other members of their family. Their trick, fortunately, agile, a natural 1.
Oh no.
Unfortunately not. As the smallest daughter,
No.
most curious of them, takes a pretty bad fall.
I'm sitting in the clouds. I'm sitting in the clouds.
You can send in the clowns, but while they can recover the act, they're not going to be fast enough to prevent the injury. And as the youngest, maybe 7-year-old daughter of the Kambali family lands seemingly on her neck from her mother's shoulders next to the tightrope, the clowns rush out to cover.
I'll
They
rush
won't
the
lose
kid.
any excitement.
I'll rush the kid to Arabis.
You won't lose any excitement, but the Featherfall 5 are injured and won't be able to perform in your next show. The Flamboni sisters, trying to pick up the slack here, trying to draw attention away as much as they can, light all of their batons, passing them across the barrel to each other, juggling through the large, roaring flame between them. Their act. Oh, they don't have the injury trait, right? Because they're low to the ground. She's all right.
Oh,
the girl's
thank God.
fine.
Oh, never mind.
Children
That's
are
a-
indestructible as long as you don't acknowledge their pain. It looked
yes.
really bad.
Okay,
but as the
lower
clowns-
excitement, and I'm. That's
Don't
okay.
worry about
They're fine.
As the clowns come out, they realize there's no actual injury, but they're gonna cover the Featherfall 5's retreat as they fall back. The Flamboni sisters, also not agile, it's going to make their attempt.
Oh, no.
Also critically failing, and they do have the injury trait. As they make a fortitude save to attempt to juggle, and as they perhaps overextend themselves, trying to draw focus away, a flaming baton strikes one of them, right across the side of the face.
Oh no.
And for serious this time,
It's just a little fire. Walk it off.
that's gonna be a pretty severe burn.
Oh, no.
jeez.
The clowns can't save everything, and this time for serious, the Flamboni sisters are going to be injured and will not be able to perform in your next show. The clowns immediately divert their attention to what is seeing the little girl is okay. Clearly the more severe problem. Pantomiming fear of this fire and helping to escort them backstage to tend to their wounds. As the family, the parents, just finish up their performance with a few more basic flips before going to make sure their daughter is okay. Zerg, do you want to take your final action? Or do you want to
Yes.
retreat as...
With both the mayor and what's his face on my shoulder, with one hand each, I'd like to lift them up over my head, like from their bellies. Just
How
like,
much anticipation and excitement are we at now?
Right
Who
now, your
cares?
anticipation is 34 and your excitement is 42.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we're good.
This might be the worst finale in the history of the world. We'll see. Zerg, his final performance at a -8.
Try
Oh,
28.
dude.
Oh, baby.
Succeeds to...
You see, no man can beat Zarg, the strongest man alive. And then, just as a little flourish, a little passing of the hands over my head before I set them back down. You're welcome. Good
And
night, everybody.
Zerg doing his best to salvage the finale here. A great performance, 4 more excitement, and the crowd more than pleased as he retreats backstage, leaving the mayor and the priest of Abadar to return to their seats. And as you fall back, ending the night, Selwyn, do you have any final words?
Good night to all, and to all a good night. Please ignore the last part of the show, except the one with the jerk. That was great. Broken child neck? Flaming sisters? It didn't happen. Wipe it from your minds. Come see us next time when we inevitably come back to Abberton. Probably someday never. Thank you all. I'll do a bow.
Bowing, the crowd still pleased as the group of you retreat backstage. Still, certainly a successful performance. Though, not quite as impressive, not the lofty heights of sheer skill that your opening night set for us. Zerg doing his best to salvage what he could of the final act. Math. There were no critical successes in the final act. There was an unmitigated critical failure. The finale was not a success, so it will not roll additional excitement over to your next show. But you're going to end with 46 excitement and 34 anticipation. Ending the night with what should certainly be a pretty spectacular purse. You're expecting to walk away from this with about 39 gold for the circus. A spectacular performance indeed. And though Zerg may not have been able to successfully salvage the finale, he did good. He put forth a great effort. And the chat, for one, certainly appreciates it, with TNT DMD dumping an Omega 5,000 bits onto Zerg. I'll just give you the bucket as well.
Welcome to the Bucket Club.
Welcome to the
Thank you very
Bucket Club.
much.
Both of you sitting on a hot stack.
You know,
Let's just say 5 hero points. Thank
was-
you for the
5
outrageous
total or
bit
5 on top
support.
of what I had?
Total of 5. Because that's as high as my counter goes.
Yeah, we go 5.
You're supposed to be hard limited as 3 at 3 as per the rules of Pathfinder Second Edition.
Tell
But
this to my wonderful audience.
I'll put it up to 5.
Wow, that was amazing. I'll walk up to Lizard after the show. Lizard, did you see me? I did great. A lot better than last time.
That was like, I was blown away. Like literally everybody was just blown away. I cannot believe. I guess we're just gonna have to have you as the main show all the time. I mean,
I was blown away as well.
you were, and I really was impressed with your dance. You know, Arabis has really been doing good over there.
Yes, Arabis's dance is good.
The air is a little less excited behind the curtain, where Tamiri has suffered some pretty decent burns to her face, which I imagine Arabis and Tulip would have immediately turned tending to.
For sure.
And you're able to heal her up decently well, but it's pretty bad. It's gonna be a bit before she's back in. The Camboni family, you can tell a little shaken, even though the girl's fine. She's fine. Her older brother isn't worried at all. But her older sister, not quite as easily able to quell her fear. The parents put on a brave face, having had 3 children, fully aware that, again, children are invulnerable if you don't acknowledge their pain, and just trying to blow it over as well as they can, and Mardrain, nowhere to be seen. The professor, as well, comes back around with some somewhat unfortunate news. A large purse in front of him, open in one hand and an abacus in the other. He steps up to Selwyn. Well, that was certainly a profitable show, and a well-performed one, by and large. Though not quite as profitable as we may have hoped.
Yeah, we always shut the bar a bit. It's fine. It's the last performance here.
Well, we made 29 gold.
Wait, what?
That's what I was thinking. By the size of the crowd and their excitement, I would have expected a fair bit more, truth be told. But at our opening curtain, as our bouncers were filling the seats, I did notice quite a few people dejectedly turning and heading back to their homes. It's not a lack of interest that's our problem here. I think Aberton's just a lack of coin.
So we move.
Well, they're for what they're worth. All right. Well, such is the world, sadly.
Well, we are a traveling circus after all, and this is by and large a good portion of the reason. The crowd was a fair bit smaller this evening than our opening night, even if they were far more excited for the show. I'd say, all things considered, this was as successful as it truly could have been. But I fear any further performances for Aberton may quickly turn to losses, no matter our efforts.
That's fine. I wanted this to be the last performance we did here anyway. That's why I told everyone to go all out.
It was certainly a spectacular one for the ages. I know not if
I can't top this. This was as good as I've ever been. I cannot do this again. If we stay here, I quit.
We're not staying here. I just said that.
Well,
Yes,
we'll
good.
certainly
I'm
be
not
looking-
going back to bodyguarding again. I'm not doing this.
We'll certainly be looking to move forward, but with the profits we've raked in from our first 2 performances and the amount of interest that we've generated here, it may be wise to look into a larger canvas for our main big top. More seating would do well to aid us.
Mm-hmm.
Though, admittedly here, it seems to be far from our main problem. I also fear that, well, we're not really growing more prestigious with this second show. Aberton already knows of us and already sings our praises. As far as the renown of the Circus of Wayward Wonders is concerned, we haven't gone any further than we already had with our opener. Your prestige is still 5. You didn't gain any for this show.
Right.
Well, we'll need to make plans then. There are, dozens of settlements throughout the Isle of Arran, and we could consider taking this show even further to the road. We could head closer to Absalom, or at least to the mainland. What are your thoughts, Selwyn?
I think we go where there's more coin. Take us where the winds blow.
Well,
That's good. That's really
coin
good.
is
Selwyn.
certainly a concern, but you have to balance the value of merit. Sure, we could pay fees for ferries, pack up all our wagons, and ship us to the gates of Absalom itself, but...
I'm not being
we'd be
unrealistic. Where we can reasonably perform.
wise.
You don't have to be pedantic, Professor. You knew what I meant.
Well, I'd like to hope, but... Well, I've seen more than one circus ruined by leadership decisions, and at least wanted to be certain. I make no humors when it comes to the fate of our family here. And the fate of our purses.
The important bit.
Perhaps I'll do some research then. Look into some nearby settlements we could do well with. We can put some thought into the coming days. Moving our caravans and loading everything up is no small task, so it'll take some time to ready anyway. Not to mention permits and local governances as necessary, depending on where we decide to head. We'll have to clear everything with the town's leadership. Mayor Holden here was more than welcoming to the idea of a show and lease this land to us for mere pennies. I doubt we'll be so lucky again, unfortunately.
Agreed. Well, if you do that research, then we'll have a few days to spend in town. People can do whatever they like for a few days. We've certainly earned it, given our performance.
You certainly have. That was spectacular. Pay no heed to the faults of the finale. The show must go on, and there are always hiccups in any given show. Our big number was phenomenal, and Selwyn, somewhere up in the aether, throughout the fields of Elysium, I'm sure Thunder himself heard your rallying calls.
I would like to think that.
Well, to rest it is then. We'll have the roustabouts taking down the canvases in the morning, and then I suppose we'll spend a day uprooting the posts themselves, levying them down to size and readying them for transport to, well, greener pastures, or at least richer ones. Very well then. And with a smile and nod to the group of you, he turns to take his leave. And damn certainly another successful show, party.
Mm-hmm.
What are we at? Circus Gold 63. That's dollars. So that unlocks you a lot of actual things that you could try to arrange to permanently upgrade your performances. As the professor recommended, upgrading the size of your tent may be a good one to head for early. At the moment, your maximum anticipation you can generate through show promotion is 20 because you can only seat so many people. But for an investment of 40 gold, about 2/3 of what you currently have, your pre-show anticipation limit could be increased to 50. You could also look into some other side upgrades. You could improve the quality of the seating itself, though this will have an inverse effect. Better bleachers, better seating, innately means you're seating less people. So you'll be able to start shows with a head start on excitement for a trade-off of lower maximum anticipation. You could also invest in things like a safety net, perhaps, to prevent injuries coming through to your more dangerous performances, or better acoustics, though you wouldn't be able to take much advantage of that at the moment. You have nothing that really needs it. You could also try to sell yourself up. You could get spotlights for 40 gold, increasing your prestige by 1, above and beyond what Abberton could give you, giving you a head start heading into the next show, and a reminder that prestige is calculated into your final payouts every show.
Mm-hmm.
But a +1 is a +1. It's helpful. I mean, I'm not going to advise you any further than the professor did. Or you could just bag hold forever and not spend any of it, or save it for temporary show-by-show upgrades. A lot of options you have.
Mm-hmm.
More beer.
More
More
beer.
beer, indeed.
Beer all but requires somebody takes a security guard role, but such is life. So, what are the group of you doing? You heading back out to your wagons?
I would like to suggest that we arrange for both bigger tents and a spotlight. And the difference in gold cost will take out at the party gold, the party wealth. Would Aura have given me the purse?
Oh, sell one. By the way, here.
I'll take the purse. Oh, what's this?
It's a bag full of money.
From who? You didn't steal this, did you?
Do I look like I would steal anything?
Yes.
A bag full of almost twice as much money as your full performance just made.
Yep.
The mayor gave it to me. But shh, don't tell anyone.
All right, I won't. And I'll put it on the funds, and I'll make the suggestions. Given our increase in wealth, we should spend some of what we got from Aeon Holden on the circus anyway. And
Yeah, okay.
spotlights.
I've got enough money to eat. Other than that, we're good to go. So, yeah, sure, whatever you want.
Oh, that was easy. Didn't take much convincing.
I think
do
I
guess,
need a higher snack budget and oil budget. Can we work this out? I need a raise, basically.
What's your oil budget currently?
0. You don't pay me.
That's true. All right, 1 gold per performance in your oil budget.
Also, I hear talk about upgrading the circus. Spotlight would be good. 1 for each bicep, I think would be good.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Write it down. Yes. Raise, spotlights, snacks, oil.
All right,
Please.
Raise,
Do it.
spotlight, snacks, oil.
And maybe cart for myself and Ulva and that will do. That's good.
Don't you already have a cart?
I share with Lizard is uncomfortable.
Can you just move in with Ilva?
She is the
She's with the
sideshow
other-
and
yeah, she's
also
with all the other
shares her
side.
wagon with the whole
Oh,
sideshow.
right. Oh, I've got a
It's
solution.
not for me, it's for Lizard. I don't want to put him through this every time I hang out with Ulva.
I have
The
a solution.
noises alone
that,
could be problematic. Scar you for life.
Yeah, I have a solution that requires no changes. Just use Gray's wagon. It's not like he uses it.
I am almost never in it.
See?
I mean, I could share with Gray, and then you guys could have ours.
Oh yeah.
So-
No,
that's-
it's not
that's
really
awesome.
wagon, it's more of a flat.
Yeah, there's
Sure.
You and Lizard share a cart. It's not even a wagon right now.
Oh,
Mm.
And
okay.
acquiring another cart in town would be fairly easy. And they're not that expensive. They're only 3 gold pieces. A proper wagon would be a little harder to find here. You'd probably have to like commission it from a woodworker to have him create it for you, and it's 25 gold pieces.
Oh Christ, that's a lot of gold.
Well, I guess me and Gray can share what me and Lizard had, and me and Zeg had, and then I guess Zeg could go over to Gray's. Yeah, that works out.
Yeah. He doesn't need to
What do
rule
you
it anyway.
think? What do you think, Arabis? Is your house? I don't want to
No, it's not
offer
my-
a step.
it's
Say
not
no
my
if
house.
okay.
Me and Arabis get along great. I mean, me and the dog really get along. I've always had a good time with the dog.
It's not.
Wolf.
He's a wolf.
Wolf. That's the one.
Yes.
I don't snare, don't worry. Just no,
We
I
sleep
don't
on
snore,
it.
don't
We
worry.
sleep on it.
Yeah, I could share with the lizard. I almost am never going to be there, though. I mean, my home is
The wilds, right?
yes, something.
Well,
like that.
everything works out
Oh.
great. I start moving my things.
Perfect. I'll help you move your one other leotard.
I need to start
That's
doing.
But I don't
Basically all
have
we
any
have.
spares.
Oh no!
The one from way back when we were still in the menagerie.
Oh,
The
you keep. I
spandex
keep this.
leotard.
I threw it under the bed that one time. And
Oh, I
I
thought I
think
got
it's
rid
still
of this.
there.
I lost it and didn't think about this. Ugh. Yeah, keep for memories, I guess. Okay.
So, as the group of you head back out from the from backstage to the circus grounds, to your various tents and wagons, you would see a familiar face waiting for you, as Reginald Hamdale is standing, looking much better now, given a few days of rest and some of his own magic, certainly. And raises a hand as the group of you come forth. Ah, fantastic.
Oh my god, you can speak!
He can
I'm-
speak before, couldn't he?
I'm
You
sorry.
could speak before. That was
Oh wait.
Joseph.
Oh, I was, yeah,
Thinking
okay. I
of
was,
the cleric.
I'm thinking of the wrong cleric druid. Sorry.
Retcon,
Not
retcon.
put together.
Backpedal quickly.
Oops.
That was quite a spectacular performance, I must admit. I've never had much time to leave the Hermitage for something so spectacular. And I thank you again for letting me and what's left of my people in for so far below your asking price.
We're just happy to have you. Did you enjoy yourself?
We very much did. It's interesting. There's so much weighing on my mind, and the travesty of the past few weeks. Could almost forget about my troubles for a few hours, simply watching the revelry.
It's like
It's
an
an-
escape, right?
Almost, yes. But I digress. I'd promised the group of you an explanation on more of events, and I've had a few days to rest. So, I'll answer any questions you have, anything you wanted to know about what's happened with the Hermitage. In return, I must petition your assistance one more time.
All right. So, do you want to go first? Should I? How are we doing this?
I suppose I can just start at the beginning.
Okay.
The Hermitage of Blessed Lightning was established here to protect and learn from Erin Tower. And he points up to the northwest. An ancient landmark a few miles inland from the coast. You might have spotted it on your journey to the Hermitage. It's difficult to miss. We
Yes.
hermits know very little about it, admittedly. It was created by Erodin thousands of years ago. But at its summit is an artifact we call the Aeon Orb. So named because it orbits the summit of the tower, the way an Aeon stone circles the head of its owner. Lore passed down to me from previous masters of the Hermitage suggests there is more to it. This orb was the tool Eredin himself used to seed these rocks with life when he raised them from the seas, enriching the stone for dozens of miles in all directions, making the land more abundant, the seasons milder, even making harvests more bountiful. But in just the past few generations, this bounty has visibly and notably faded. It's vanishing before our very eyes.
Huh.
And only doing so faster as time passes. Soil is drying out, vegetation is stunted, some crops no longer grow at all. birth rates among animals are declining, and some at the Hermitage blamed the townspeople of Aberton for this decline. It is to that I blame the beginning of their uprising. One of my cloister, a halfling named Ariad, seemed particularly touched by rage. He was able to gather a following behind her, and perhaps as punishment for our failings as shepherds of the tower, perhaps by a cruel twist of fate, it was then this priest, Tilvi arrived. She carried with her a profane gift, but a powerful one, that she promised Ariad would be able to use to enact vengeance upon Aberton and its peoples for their crimes against nature. Crimes I see no reason to believe they've committed. I suspect a different cause. I think the power of the Aeon Orb has begun to fail. I think the whole Isle of Arran is dying.
Oh, great. Awesome. Cool.
Do you have like another one of the power stones or whatever? Can we just like swap them out, or is that like...
My knowledge of the artifact itself and its role in keeping all life on this island held in its balance is limited, but I'll explain what I can. Come, walk with me, if you will.
Yes.
Let us take a break from the lights and sounds of this circus. And when we return, chat, there's much more to this than a simple halfling gone mad and some demonic infestation at Hermitage. The source of all this seems to be something possibly infinitely more severe. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. When we do, Reginald here certainly has a tale for us. Welcome back, everybody. When we left, we had put on a wildly successful circus, generating a good bit less gold than we had expected it to, but still a decent purse. Because what you take away at the end, that amount that I give you is not the amount of money that is in the bag. That is your profit. So that's full profits. That's completely after all of the costs of setting everything up and feeding everybody and everything. That's the leftover that you can just like put into upgrades and whatnot. So still very much a profitable show. But Reginald, waiting outside to meet with us, has told us a bit of a concerning state of affairs here, it seems. That the Aeon Stone atop Arran Tower, the tower you saw on the way to the Hermitage, might be failing. And without it, pretty much all life on the Isle of Arran is just going to die off. Plants won't grow. Animals can't even reproduce properly anymore. Birth rates are down. When you left, you had asked him. What exactly did you ask him, Selwyn? Yeah, I don't want to take your words.
Well, I asked him, who's doing this? Are you going first? Who's going first? Wait, who are we talking to? Still the druid?
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, what are you commissioning us to do?
I've tried to understand the Aeon Orb and perhaps restore its power in months past, but its nature eludes me. I have made a few trips to the Aeon Tower over the years, but nothing there really provides any clues. And on my most recent visit, only a few weeks ago, must not have been long before you arrived in town, some foul-smelling creatures, troglodytes, hurled spears at me before I could get close. These are, I believe, Zulgoth, the reptilian humanoids from the Darklands below. I spied on them a bit from a distance. There are at least a dozen, accompanied by large lizards and several demons. It was an unpleasant surprise, but I then soon had my hands full with the newcomer Chompt, and her ability to stoke the resentment amongst the hermits. It seems obvious in hindsight, but the sudden rise of demon worship here and with her must surely be related to the demons accompanying the Zolgoths at the Aeon Tower. I overheard a few of the more debased of my priests say they'd planned to visit the Aeon Tower and speak with someone. School Kanta. I don't recognize the name, but it does sound like deep speak. School may be the leader of the Zolgoths. He may have some power over demons. I don't know what relation these trogs have with creatures of the abyss, but you've done so much for Aberton and my hermitage already. But there is more here that must be done, and I fear you are the only ones capable enough to do it. Will you cleanse the Aeon Tower of the demons and Zolgoth infesting it, so perhaps we can work together to restore the life to this land?
It is my duty to protect. I absolutely accept this.
I don't think it's yours to accept, Gray. Although we do totally accept. There's no profits to be made if the land is dead.
I'm afraid there are no profits to be made here either. I've little with which to offer you. Most that of value from the hermitage
We've already taken.
already given to you, or the other priests took with them as they rebelled, or was lost.
It's all good.
Not wrong. Without a populace to perform to, there isn't much cause for a circus.
Consider an act for the greater good in self-interest.
I can give you some information about the tower, and anything further you wish to know about what may have happened with Ariad or the town, I can attempt to answer, but
Well, what do you know if
there's
it's
little beyond that I can do to help. Well, I can give you a map to get there, though it's not difficult to locate, and I can detail some of the tower's interior. It's quite massive, nearly 200 feet tall, but the entrance you'll find up its western side. There's a snaking ramp that leads near 40 feet up alongside the mud brick structure into a small opening. It's almost invisible at a distance, simply dwarfed by the sheer size of the building, but fairly obvious up close. Although the tower is truly massive, most of the inside isn't hollow. It's solid mud brick. There's not much to the interior of the structure itself. From that opening, you're led down to a ring near at ground level, circling around a central chamber with stairs that wind their way up 80 feet to the second level. Another ring of rooms looped around to a final staircase, climbing 100 feet to the top of the tower itself, where the Aeon Orb is located. And as far as my last visits, it was all bleak stone, empty and abandoned. I do know of a few other bits of information that may be useful to you, however. The second floor contains 2 circles. As far as I could tell, though I never studied them properly, they appear to be binding runes, ancient in origin. And perhaps once these northernmost chambers were used to study some type of outsiders or elementals, but there's never been anything present there that I've seen. Though I have noted that the corridors and chambers themselves, left almost wholly abandoned for generations, if not centuries, are suspiciously clean, particularly the floors. I believe some oozes may have taken up residence there at some point in the past. The only explanation I can think of, unless some simple magic keeps the floors polished, I wouldn't see a point. But it does seem much akin to the trappings of the lair of a gelatinous cube. Are you familiar?
Am I familiar? What would the roll be?
Ooze is move tokens. Occultism
Well, I think I am trained in
would
occultism.
be a secret check.
Well, roll it for me then. Give me a second. Just one moment. Just need to figure out how occult I am. Occultism. It's a +6.
Wow.
+6, you say? Okay.
Pretty good.
I don't know why I
No,
put
it's
this
just
dice
trained.
roller like I'm going to show you. And I have a card right here. They look like this. It's exactly what it says on the tin, really.
Gross.
But all you know about them is that they are a variety of ooze. As dangerous as any other. But strangely, the gelatinous cubes are notable for, well, what the name says. They are perfectly cubic. Rather than being a near formless blob, like most oozes, they retain a square shape.
Well, I don't know much. I know they're. I know when people said beat arrow B squared, they took the latter option, but that's about it.
I don't get it.
These oozes are fairly dangerous, but based on what I have seen of your capabilities, nothing you can't handle. Just be aware. They're acidic creatures, able to dissolve all but bone and metal with just the base composition of whatever it is that they're made of. That said, the true threat lies in their inaction rather than anything they do. The creatures are near invisible, at a standstill, and don't move around terribly often, not waiting for prey to simply stumble into them, so be alert. Although if the Zolgats have taken control of the tower, it's entirely possible the users have been dealt with already. Demons and
Right.
Zolgats is one thing, but an ooze like a gelatinous cube possesses no intelligence. It's not that they wouldn't want to ally, they're incapable. They're debatably not even sentient.
Right.
Do you have any theory as to how they are affecting the orb? Dark magics,
I'm not
perhaps?
convinced the Zolgoth are the problem. Perhaps a symptom, maybe, but I believe it to be an unpleasant coincidence. The lands were in decline long before they arrived at the Aeon Tower. The orb was already failing. They can't possibly be the source. But while they're there, there's nothing we can do to attempt to diagnose or to fix the issue. I wasn't able to get near the tower after their arrival, though admittedly I never had a chance to. Attempts to properly muster any forces or reach out before Aeon took control of the Hermitage.
Right.
Then we will clear a path for you.
While the mayor is very grateful for all that you have done for Abaton, as am I for what you have done for myself and what's left of my flock, what you do here will be for all those who call this island home. Perhaps even those on the Isle of Kortos. It is no great stretch to say you may very well be saving Absalom with your actions, though they would never know it.
Well, time to add Hero of the Ages onto my resume.
Yeah, someone, maybe you could write a book about it, and then we could sell that book, and then we'd get money from all the people who we saved who didn't know about it.
Someone, are we going to be heroes?
We're
We're
already heroes a
Are you
little
kidding
bit.
me?
See?
Look how many
Yeah.
people we saved. We saved like a dozen people, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, hero's a really
It's
weird
like-
term, right? Because it's a very wide one, and once you're a hero, there's no above.
But, like,
Legends,
superhero.
the stuff
Well,
of mythology.
Well, yeah,
Often
but-
the Starstone Isles finds its history and its myths intertwined.
Oh yeah, we
I
could
wouldn't
take
be
the Starstone
surprised
trials
if-
at the end.
Someday you could find your way into that if my theories about the Aeon Orb hold merit.
I'm cool with being a
Ah.
legend. Sounds pretty cool.
I'm pretty okay with just being a hero.
No, we
Yeah, you
gotta
gotta
seek
dream
higher.
big. Yeah, you always gotta dream big. Alright? Always gotta dream big.
With my
I'm an
pious
Nardia
life, I've never quite understood the desire for fame and recognition, but the light it ignites in your eyes is one I can't help but feel some envy for.
This is also why you don't have any money.
Perhaps it very well may be.
They don't understand that it's duty that drives us.
Wow.
And money.
Money, definitely money. I think it's like 20% duty and 80% money, which is you being the 20% duty and the rest of us being the money.
Yeah. I'd say most
Oh.
of our duty is keeping Arabis alive, so I feel like that's pretty good.
I don't
Whatever your
really-
causes, if they lead you to bear arms against these Zolgoths and to return the Aeon Tower to one that we can hope to repair, so be it. Besides, I must admit, I find your willingness somewhat endearing, regardless of its source. As I said, I don't believe the Zolgoths nor the demons themselves are the cause of these problems. I don't believe they pose any real threat to the Aeon Tower, so admittedly, there is no real urgency here. That said, I don't know if we'll be able to reverse the decline of the Aeon Orb. I hope to at least be able to stabilize it. The decline has been accelerating, but on a span of years and generations. Take your time readying yourselves before you head to the tower, and if you have any need of my services, please do not hesitate to ask. We're having the passage to the Hermitage repaired as we speak, Abberton's stonemason has come out to install a bridge. One secured both to the walls of the cliff at the side, as well as to the ground upon which it sits. Should be ready in the coming days.
Right.
But I can only hope. Well, less hope. I believe this is something that you were sent here to fulfill. The wind and the waves has long watched these lands. And with what you've already done for the Hermitage, surely he sent you for a similar reason here. Arabis, if you believe any amount in destiny, I've never seen a clearer sign of it than this.
It really does seem like what was prophesied by my tribe.
I have admittedly never been one for prophecy myself, but this may just make a believer of me yet.
I am here for a reason.
And I believe the Stormlord will watch your steps, Stormborn. I must retire. I have a long journey back to the Hermitage. I did enjoy your show. More than worth the coin. And I wish you the best of luck, all of you. Let me know, as soon as you're able, if it is safe to traverse the Aeon Tower once again. Evening to the group of you.
Evening.
May your path be green.
Bye-bye.
I guess may yours too?
Now, with a smile and a nod, he turns and heads off of the circus grounds, back around the tent towards the north.
Isn't our path being green as a circus a bad thing?
It's not.
Why would it be a bad thing?
Why is it?
Because that would mean we're in a forest and we've gotten lost.
No, that
Oh,
means we
we're
have
in
more
a
trees to
pasture.
look.
Oh yeah, pasture works too. I don't think that's what he meant.
Well, if the path is green, that means it's filled with grass. I'm sure as long as we got Arabis, we can't get lost in any type of forest.
Yeah,
I'm
I agree
very
with Laura.
familiar. Yes.
So as he walks away, you can hear out in front of the tent, there's still a bit of a crowd. And you can hear the voice of Mayor Holden calling out across the crowd. You can't really make out what he's saying, but giving some kind of a speech to most of Abberton that is filtered out of the tent before they've headed back to their homes. The crowd, of course, being much smaller than that was held at your performance here, but still a few dozen people standing around to listen. Some torches out and lit just for light throughout the crowd, giving it almost a strangely menacing look. But clearly, the group is jovial.
I want to go listen.
Yeah, I guess we better go.
And as the group of you head over towards him, you can hear Mayor Holden calling out against the crowd. And it's not just the fantastic works of their performances, their acts of acrobatics, of magic, of teamwork, and animal husbandry. I'm not sure. Certainly there's a better word for the thing. I'd have to ask the woman myself. And as the gods light the path, here they are. Not just heroes. Selwyn, Arabis, Lizard, Sir, Gara. If you would, please. And motions you to step over towards him. And with that, the crowd gathered around all starts to cheer.
I'll do a backflip.
I climb up on on Lizard.
Ah, yes, as he's climbing up on me, I'll nudge Zerg and strike a pose.
These fine folk here, heads of the circus as far as I can tell. Not just the greatest performers the town of Abberton has ever seen, but are heroes. Were it not for them, by Abadar watches down above, his golden fist would have let this city fall for some unrepentant sins by the wayside I now could not even list. But thanks to the circus of wayward wonders, we thrive and live on, entertained at that. And I think I will cross no lines. I will strike no toes to declare them Abertons in perpetuity in spirit. As much as any of us, these fine folk here are good people of our town. And with that, the crowd cheering out again, seemingly very much on board.
Oh,
Very, very honored to take place even as a fragment of this glorious town that we've helped save. But it was not just me, it was also our incredible circus, which you should totally visit if we ever come back.
I think no advertisement at this point need be given for the fantastic acts of the Circus of Wayward Wonders. Such daring and spectacular performances repeated now twice upon our very humble eyes. No man, woman, or child here would think, even for a moment, of missing such a wondrous performance. And again, wrapped in the excitement, those that are left here are your most committed of fans. Again, with a ray of cheers through the crowd, and Mayor Holden smiling down at you, stepping down off of the small crate he'd stood up on to address the good folk here as they kind of spread back out, filtering some back into town, but a lot coming to crowd around you. People asking for autographs, signed gloves and boots, all sorts of various things. Your fans gathered around you here before your tent as the sun begins to set.
Aw.
I creep closer to Selwyn, very uncomfortable about what's happening.
I jump off a lizard, start reaching into my pack, and start handing out little hand-carved toys to the people.
Much the children who would be beyond happy about these tiny little handmade dolls that you give out to people. And in the chat here, holy crap today,
Whoa.
TNT DMD, truly one of the Circus of Wonders' greatest fans. Another 50,000 bits, you madman. Lizard Man joining Team Bucket of Hero Points team.
thank you very much.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Thank you. The team is, you guys are stacked.
Stacked.
You guys are beyond stacked. Ready to go save a tower, hopefully.
Or ruin it, depending.
Could be considered saving.
Or dying, you know.
Stuff.
So as the crowd starts to slowly die down, the sun setting, darkness starting to come out and really just leaving the flickering torchlight around the tent, and those that some of the townsfolk still have torches or lanterns in hand. Another face comes forth from the crowd, looking much better. Still a bit injured, but his cloak and vestments having been much cleaned, his gleaming symbol of Abadar once again around his neck.
Just the guy who
Trent,
couldn't talk.
Yeah, this is the one.
the priest of Abadar, steps forward.
no.
Indeed, and I very much apologize for the struggles of our previous conversations, but thank you.
Oh
for
my
bearing
god,
with
you
me.
can talk!
Yes. By the good graces of the judge of the gods, I have been found worthy, and these ailments have largely faded.
Speaking of ailments, this girl over here, Arabis, she's looking a little peaky. You wouldn't know anything about, like, peakiness?
Yeah, little pet there.
Yeah, a little bit of it. Like, yesterday you were about to die, and I was pretty worried about you.
A sickness, then. I
Something. Yeah, no.
could certainly do well to look over and see what I could discover, but
I think we got bit by ghouls, but I'm not sure if that's what it's from, because we also, like, got
Do
a
you
lot
think
of,
that's
like...
what it was?
by
Well, I don't know, there's,
ghouls.
like, a lot of demon blood all over the place and stuff, so it could really
Well, you
be
got
anything.
bit
And
like 17
demon
times.
blood. Please, hold still. This is much more severe than I'd worried.
Okay.
And he steps forward to and just sort of kind of looks you over a bit as you stand there, getting a little close, peering into your ears, putting a hand up against a couple fingers up against the side of your neck, and feeling your forehead with the back of some of his fingers. Very, very touchy, looking you over, just trying to analyze what exactly is going on. And as he does, looking it over, well, you look certainly much worse than I'd expected for one bitten by ghouls. Ghoul fever is a terrible disease, one that takes lives within days, if not hours, for those unfortunate. Abadar blesses me as his vessel for such services and such purposes. And by his grace, whatever this affliction may be, I will do my best to purge it from your body. And he stops and digs through his pockets for a moment. A moment. If you'll travel with me to the church, I need a few things.
Okay, I'm free.
And if you come with him, the church isn't far, just a few minutes walk. And as you are, he's asking you more details about how you felt, what exactly you encountered. Have you showing him where the ghoul bit you?
Explaining what I tried to do to fix myself. Yeah, I'll run him through the whole thing.
As he reaches the church itself, he pulls an actual key off of his belt and unlocks the front doors. We're stopping. Oh, a blessing. You, group, circus travelers, were you able to recover my holy texts?
Oh, right, those.
Right.
Yeah, we actually were.
Wait,
Totally forgot about those.
what were those? Oh, these?
Somewhere. Yeah.
I just
Yeah, those are the ones.
rummage around. You go.
He takes
These?
Abadar lights your path, certainly. The scales weigh in my favor this day. Spectacular. This will aid me. Come
I
come
found
inside,
him next to
please.
a dead guy.
No need to stand outside the darkness. And he gestures you in. As he gestures you in, the scales sure as hell weigh in your favor. As first Destronets, tipping $10, not as wealthy and or insane as others, but let's stock up everyone, hashtag Zindern, putting him up at 4 hero points immediately before Saiyan Fox 10 throws another 5 to Zindern as well. Woo!
Man,
What's more effective than pandering? The guy who's giving out the buckets saying "fuck Zindern," so everyone else jumps in. Yay! The entire party now sitting on 4 or more hero points.
Wow.
Oh boy, I hope nobody goes down nasty as does to avoid dying. That'd truly be unfortunate.
I'd spent it
4.
beforehand. You wouldn't be able to stop me. No, wait, I'm already stocked up.
So, let's do this, since chat's been so absurdly supportive today. Sammy, you had 2 before the bucket hit you?
Yeah.
Just literally say you're at 7, give you a +5.
Awesome.
Lizard Man got a
Thank you.
+5 from his 1, you're at 6. Mono got a +5 from his 2, also 3, I think, actually? Or 2. Let's just say he's at 7. Someone getting 2 more from TNT DMD, you're also at 7. So let's say 7's the hard cap, okay?
Seven's
No
the hard
trouble,
cap now.
7 hero points.
Write it down. Book it.
Alright, I think
Good
It's
lucky
law
number.
now. It is by the
By
grace of
Abadar.
Abadar in his house of laws and gold. 7's the cap.
Oh no.
Mios and Mio.
And Aragon, writer, with 500 more bits. Ara should have 5 too.
Yeah.
Surely. Let's get a plus symbol next to everybody's icons here. So all of you have the beautiful
symmetry.
4+ indicator on stream.
I'm
Oh
gonna
man,
reroll so many circus rolls.
you guys,
They're ready
Really
for the
gonna
next
be-
performance.
the rerolls of destiny here. So prepared. As you head inside the church, reveling in this newfound hero point wealth, this windfall that has come to the Circus of Wayward Wonders, the high priest here, Joseph Drend, pulls a few things out from the back room, from a couple of lockboxes. A small mortar and pestle with a bit of water in the bottom of it, and a sprig of some small green leafy plant. And he presses it into the water and crushes it together with the mortar before touching his fingers into the water, and reaching up and tapping it to Arabis's forehead, drawing down to the bridge of her nose. And as he does, he grabs his holy symbol with his other hand, pulls his hand back, and displays his fingers in front of your face. Saw Morbus. As energy wells up. The blessings of Abadar attempting to directly counteract your disease. Let me see what we got. Counteract check is with his spell DC. For a 26, absolutely gonna dispel the ghoul fever right out of you. That is gone. And you would immediately feel a wave of relief as your very symptoms seemed to almost instantly subside. If not completely and absolutely, almost entirely.
That was extremely impressive. You'll have to show me how to do this for... wow.
A life of penance and study, my child. Any who are committed can walk the path, but Abadar gives his strongest blessings only to those he deems worthy.
I'm still learning things from the Storm Lord. Eventually, I'm sure I will have this power.
Perhaps. If Reginald up at the Hermitage, who surprisingly enough I believe I saw at tonight's performance, is anything to go by, his powers rival the strongest of gods. Certainly the wind, the waves, all of nature is quite a domain. That much I must admit. Well, as they would say, so it is judged. No charge for this, and I hope that Abadar will look fondly upon me for my gift of his blessings. I'll be sure to pay proper penance, but if any I've met were worthy of his touch, it is you. And a promise is a promise as well. Certainly not in the house of God will I turn for that. From Abadar's very vault. And from the pulpit pulls that small necklace that he had before. The other of the two items that he'd given you to choose from. You brought me back my holy books, and so, as payment, this is yours. You fighting with ghouls and demons, even beyond what was necessary to save this chapel. I imagine that in your future this may do good service to you. This brooch will protect you from common and simple arcane magics of attack, shielding you from force bolts if they're directed your way. To my understanding, this can absorb 30 of the individual missiles. Should protect you for some time. I would hand it out to Arabis as a brooch of shielding, because it's illegal to make a Pathfinder adventure path where you don't get a brooch of shielding as loot.
Yeah, and you don't get something that says, fuck you, magic missile.
Fucking magic missiles.
Magic missile's the best spell. I wish
Magic
I
missile
could take
fucking
it.
sucks.
I'll show you what can't miss.
I'll take it at my earliest convenience.
But beyond that, I believe our deal is sealed then. You've returned the church to me, and I've repaid the favor, as well as I can. And again, a humble thank you from a humble priest for the return of these holy texts. I'll be able to continue my sermons properly this coming Sunday. I thank you not only for myself, but for the good people of Abadar, those of the cloth who attend my clergy and my flock. If there's
Well, I'm
anything
glad
else
you
you...
can talk now.
I'm sorry?
Well, I'm glad you can talk now. It's much more enjoyable.
I certainly feel much better. The influences of that demon's foul corruption were severely unpleasant, at best. Should you ever need any of my services again, please don't hesitate to call upon me. And I hope you'll attend our services We start Sunday morning, 9, an hour past the sun's rises. Arabis, if you wish to learn, there's no better place.
I think we'll be out of here, man.
Yeah, the circus
life.
we're constantly moving around.
The life of the traveler. Nomadic. I understand. Well, regardless, whether your path finds you, may the scales weigh in your favor. And a pleasant evening to all of you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again.
No. Arabis. I leave that and so much more. Thank you. And so with that, successful in a performance and with the ghoul fever dispelled right out of you, Jesus saves. Arabis feeling a whole lot better.
Yay!
You head back to the circus grounds to rest. A successful show behind you, and on now to toil day. A good night's rest for everyone, finally. No sickness, no problems, no concerns. As alone as you want it to be, as Ilva is equally happy to celebrate another fantastic performance, and to reward Zerg for his efforts to salvage the finale with his masterful performance. You'll all awaken the next day, hopefully, in relatively good spirits. Which brings us to what?
So... Hey, Selwyn.
Yeah?
I think I might have remembered something important.
What?
I know how to make magic items.
Oh. Had a weird pause there in the middle for some reason.
Yeah, happens. Yeah, so I think make scrolls mostly. I'm trying to remember it,
Alright.
but I need material for it.
Well, can't
So-
like anybody make a scroll? I don't understand. They need like a pen and paper
Oh.
and stuff.
Yeah, you can make a scroll, but I could put magic in it.
Can
Are
you
you
put
just gonna
magic in
burn
the blizzard?
scroll, or are you gonna like? Because you could put magic. Your magic normally burns things, so I feel like if you put magic in the scroll, you just burn the scroll.
Oh, that could happen too.
Okay.
It might have
well,
happened before.
Good luck, I guess.
Thank you.
Party interactions. We have them.
Super functional.
Yep. But dysfunctional.
Not socially awkward at all.
You're a fucking
So
plant.
as
You don't
you-
even know what social is.
As
Or
you
awkward.
wake for the morning, preparing your spells, your weapons and arms should you need them. Where is this toil day going to bring us? Are we heading directly out to the Aeon Tower?
How far was it?
Well, the good news is it does not. The Hermitage is largely past it. It's a bit of a different direction, but it's about 15 miles southwest of the Hermitage of Blessed Lightning. Around the same distance, but much easier going. Probably take you about half the day to get there.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll go tell the professor. We'll be out for the day.
Yeah, sounds good.
Send a search party if we're not back in 3 days.
Or 4. Maybe
Assume
just
we
give it, like,
died.
4 or 5. Maybe
And
give it
so-
a week. If we're not back in a week, maybe. a week.
That's way too long.
What? No, I mean, what if we get lost on the way there and then also?
We're not gonna get
on the
lost.
back?
No, it's
We have
15 miles away.
We have
Yeah,
we
Arabis.
will.
Yeah.
We have Arabis. We can't get lost.
15 miles
It is
southwest
like-
of the Hermitage. The Hermitage is like,
No.
so it's like probably 25 miles away from the
Yeah,
camp. It's
but-
decently
And
far.
it's
Potato,
like-
potato.
An 80-foot tower, and do you know how many stairs that is? Like, we can't do that in one shot.
It's at least 2.
Probably.
Maybe even 3.
I mean, unless
glad
there's a
to
ladder.
see-
All right. Well, we'll compromise and say 5 days.
Okay, 5 days. Perfect.
Yeah.
So you tell him
Excited
to
It's
send
never
out a
both
search
go.
party to the Aeon Tower if you haven't returned in 5 days, and possibly assume the worst. Nodding, The roustabouts continue their adventure, and he stays behind to instruct. As the main canopy is starting to come down, and the grounds are starting to be cleaned up. Everyone's really starting to return everything to their wagons, readying for the road to wherever it is we decide to go. The road that...
Also, can you stop?
Sorry?
I
I was going to say the road that you largely are about to hit, heading elsewhere.
Start making arrangements for a bigger tent and spotlights.
Oh, absolutely. Spectacular additions and a good use of our funding. More
And I'll hand him
seating
13 gold extra.
more lights.
17, sorry.
You give him the 17 extra gold?
Mm-hmm.
Thunder would indeed be proud of your exploits as a ringmaster, but putting your own coin towards the good of the group, it's a bit of a stretch. You
Well, what else
earned
do we have
this,
to do with it?
Sylvan.
It's fine. No, I want the upgrades so we can make more money, and then we can do better upgrades and make more money, and then make more money and more money and more money.
A key
This is a
business
investment for the future.
mind. An investment, then. Wise. There was a man back in Absalom I spoke with in my youth. He was very bull-headed, much inclined to such things. Seemed to circle his entire life around the acquisition of more coin. And the way they do things there, their businesses, their stores, scales beyond a simple building or a wagon. Investments, he would have called it. Perhaps somehow his wisdom is rung forth to you through me. He left me with a phrase. Advice, he said. Admittedly, I didn't understand what it meant. What was it? Stocks only go up? Anyway, we'll put this gold to good use. And with that,
I'm so triggered.
to his arrangements to bring the tent down and get everything ready to transport. Why? Why you have to be mad?
I'm not mad. I'm extremely irritated.
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. So the group of you strike out once more, traveling the long roads through the wilderness, through the fields and the forests of the Isle of Arran. This time, rather than foregoing the main path for a much smaller trail heading down the cliffside, this one is going to strike you on side roads. The Arran Tower once was a great building of interest, and there is, surprisingly, a more well-worn but much older pathway leading through towards its direction.
Is it like super muddy or something?
It's very muddy,
Yeah.
yes. It's just dirt and raw ground. So as you march, continuing out towards the stone structure, you only get maybe an hour into your journey before the tower is clearly visible, even though it's some dozen miles away still, making it almost impossible to get lost. It's
See, Selwyn, I told you
right
we were
there.
going to get lost.
I didn't say we would.
Well, we're not.
But as you are traveling here, what are the group of you doing? Selwyn, how are you
I'll be
proceeding
looking
towards
at-
this tower?
Seeking, searching.
Keeping your
My
eyes open.
peeled.
Make sure drugs don't fly out of a nearby tree or anything else for that matter. How about you, Arabis?
Just keeping an eye open. Just, I'm always taking in my surroundings and enjoying it, so I'm keeping an eye open for anything out of the ordinary.
Less on guard, but also keeping alert and searching the area. Lizard Man?
I'll scout. I'm used to like hopping around. I'll be
And it makes
scouting.
sense. You already know you were headed to a place where Reginald told you directly there is aggressive, angry stuff.
Mhm.
Zerg.
And invisible squares, apparently.
And invisible
so-
squares. Zerg, how about you?
Zarg is wandering around, looking around with some like keeping aware of danger, but not particularly invested in anything.
Oh, Zerg is all grown up. Look at him participating in protection.
You'll all be screwed without me, so I best pay attention.
Joining Team Seek Team here. Look at him. Doing an action. I'm so proud of him.
Grow up so quick.
They do. What a majestic creature he's become. How about you, Ara?
Ara is actually super excited because the most he's ever traveled was from the circus to the Hermitage. Other than that, he's just been in his wagon, so he's taking everything in. He's kind of with Arabis going, oh, look at that. Oh, look over there. Look at that.
The whole party's basically just looking around. Lizard Man out front, eyes forward, making sure that nothing surprises the rest of the group. And the rest of you, various states enjoying your walk, but traveling as you do.
Forests.
As you journey, you get a strange sense of foreboding. As Wolf 13 read with 1,000 more bits, you crazy man. I note that everyone got points except the squid. Why, thank you. I only had one. Now I have 3. I'm ready.
Oh no.
Oh no. No. No.
Trail.
We all just got a
journey is-
shiver.
Largely uneventful for the majority of your travel. But as you get closer, maybe 5-8 miles away from the tower as far as you can estimate, the 4 of you seeking together surely do not need a roll for at least one of you to notice tracks. Tracks that would look very similar to those that Lizard Man leaves behind as he walks. But numerous amounts of them crisscrossing through the area, largely remaining off of the main path, behind high clumps of brush and low ridges.
I would.
Lizard, have you been here before?
I was just there, but now I'm up here, so yes.
I don't think they're his tracks. There are other lizards.
There's more than one.
Are there other lizards here?
Yes.
I thought you were one of a kind.
I was getting to that feeling also. So this'll be cool. Okay, let's go. Let's go find the other lizard folk.
Do we want to follow them? Because we could track them.
Yeah.
Well, it's
yeah.
not one track so much as it is numerous trails spreading, again, crossing throughout the area, where it just looks like a bunch of them have been moving around out here. Some fairly fresh within the last day, some a couple weeks old.
Well, we'll probably find them eventually if there's that many of them, I guess.
We can reunite you with your people.
It's true. I was once from a tribe. There was like a ton of us, I think.
You were in a tribe too?
Yeah. There
I
was like
wasn't.
a lot of us. You weren't in a tribe?
I wasn't in the tribe.
It's okay. I'm no longer with my tribe either, so I guess that's fair. Besides, I was super young, so I barely remember any of it. But I know there are other lizard people, like, around someplace, I'm sure.
Like
Arabis,
here.
if you want to switch to tracking some of the fresher trails, you certainly can.
Yeah, I will do that. I also have expert tracking, so I'm not hindering anybody on movement to do that. I'll just click it.
Expert tracking. You have experience tracker. Oh, okay.
Experience tracker,
Well,
that's it,
the
that's-
party is already moving at half speed anyway because people are seeking. So like you can take your time and track.
Okay.
You are not slowing anyone down regardless. Not only if you were trying to chase someone down, you could do it at full speed. So go ahead and make me a survival check.
Gotcha. That's 16.
The tracks don't seem terribly difficult to follow. No real pains have been made to hide them, and the ground here is fairly soft and moist. The tracks hold well, so even with a 16, it's no real difficulty to follow some of the fresher ones. What looks like a mishmash of near a half dozen of them, heading largely back towards the Aeon Tower. You follow these tracks for about 15 minutes or so, closing a little more of the distance to the tower before the tracks change. They split all over, spreading and veering out in different directions, before converging at a location where much of the foliage has been broken and there are clear signs of a struggle. Hoof prints left from a much larger, heavier beast, and then a massive impression in the ground, marred with blood where it was felled. It appears that from here, the creatures then continued dragging this large kill with them, making the tracks literally impossible to lose. It's not much longer. Maybe another 20 minutes after following that, when about 3 miles out from the tower, at a break in the tree line, you see them. A little ahead of you, in a bit of a clearing, a half dozen creatures. Almost like strange, pale copies of Lizard Man, with much the same stature and a similar build, but dressed in very simple plain leathers. 3 of them working together to haul fairly massive oxen through the undergrowth here, back towards the tower. And as you come through the tree line and see them, they too turn and see you, and are quick to fall to their weapons, snarling and shouting out commands in a strange guttural language. And
Lizard, they're much uglier than Lizard.
They are very ugly lizard. I'm gonna need some initiative, friendos. Bottom left.
I don't think initiative is a real thing.
Whew.
Did it not put me on the thing?
Probably forgot to click yourself.
I clicked myself.
I can add you manually, it's cool.
You didn't click yourself hard enough.
You didn't click yourself hard.
Apparently
No, you
not.
didn't. I didn't click myself hard enough.
You guys are the worst.
I am awful.
One. No. I got it on the list. I just rolled badly.
Oh, fair enough. Alright, so I've done the
I'm
list
just awful.
here. Let's get them in order. Okay, what's your initiative, that many? 8. 19. 16. 24. 22.
Oh boy.
They all over the place. And also 16. Now that you're on the table, you should be able to click on the 0 next to your name and add yourself, Ara.
Wee. Oh, that's a period. That's not an enter.
What matters is that you tried.
I try all the time.
You a period.
Whatever.
All right. And as you see each other here, I'm checking for ties because there's so many things on the list this time. Lizard Man leading the group, scouting. You are the first to react.
So far away.
They are so far away.
Yeah.
You're kind of just passing through a clearing. You see each other at a pretty decent distance.
I would raise my hand. Be like, hey, how's it hanging? And
Talk to real people.
wait.
Okay. Arabis.
I'm gonna scoot behind my big orcish friend. Put up my shield.
So for value on this map here, The darker ground is more off the trail. It's thicker undergrowth. That's all going to be difficult terrain.
Like a golf course. Okay, that's the rough.
It's the rough. You got a pretty big path, and they're in a decent clearing, but there's a lot of difficult terrain all around you.
Shield up, step behind Zerg, and put a hand on his shoulder, and I say, the Stormlord is with you, and just guidance.
Go get him, Chief. Ara.
I
Whoa.
am going. Yeah, R makes that noise.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold until they get close enough for me to start blasting. So then yeah,
Waiting.
I'm waiting.
The Trogs themselves here have no such patience. And they begin to rush forward. The first of them running towards you, dropping the legs of his kill as he reaches for a javelin on his back and just throws it out towards the lizard man in the front of the group, which is going to be in the second range increment because you guys are pretty far away. It's -2 for range increments, right? Pretty sure it's -2. And as he flings this javelin forward as you're waiting, it's going to sail pretty on point with a 23 towards Lizard Man.
And it's going to, as I have my hand raised, it's just going to like slam right into my shoulder.
They have made it quite clear they are not interested in friendship. The javelin striking for 7 damage.
Okay.
Can I jump in?
You can jump in right there, yes.
I'm
Anyone
just-
can who wants to, in between any 2 initiatives.
Yeah. So I'm just actually, as soon as I see that javelin loose from his hands, I start incantating, saying.
Sounds like what Aura
word-
would do, yeah, incantating.
Incantating. Word very fast and reach spell produce flame at him for 60 feet range on it instead of 30. Make it go far. I roll 25 to hit.
25 will absolutely connect with this Zolgoth here. They seem to be pretty much entirely unarmored. They just have like a loincloth and a little bandolier to hold up some tools. They have nothing else protecting them. They're not in battle gear.
And it hits for 10 damage.
Alrighty. 10 fire damage, nearly enough to bring down the lead Trog as he runs forward. They do not seem terribly sturdy. Their strength seems clearly to lie in numbers. Did you want to step in, Lizard, or are you still holding?
I'd have the, I'm going to wait till the other 2 go. They're very far away, so I'm okay with.
Well, this
them
one is
coming a little
also
closer.
going to rush forward, drawing a javelin and loosing it with a cry, just as his ally did a moment ago. This javelin sailing towards you for a 16.
Now I am a little bit more prepared this time, and I can just step aside. I mean, it's thrown from so far away, the trajectory is fairly obvious.
This one, in the back, off to the side here, is going to rush much further forward, charging towards your lines as he draws a thick wooden club off of his belt. Then if you said after those 2, so you want to go now?
Sure. Well, I'm not a fan of the one that hit me with his, so I'm going to sudden charge.
Run
this
right
one.
past him. As you get closer to this Trog warrior here, you feel an overwhelming stench come across you. I need you to make me a fortitude save.
I get a +1 for being a.
There's absolutely a stink.
They stink.
So 19.
With a 19, it's unpleasant, but yeah, you're not particularly vulnerable to unpleasant smells.
Hey, you need a shower. I would say.
You tell
What a
him.
roast.
And,
Got him.
Got him.
He dies on the spot.
right?
Whew. Oh my god.
The
So 27.
Oh my god.
As you rush in, that's going to critically hit.
Yeah, see, I told him.
What a roast.
super
He does in
What a
fact
roast.
die on the spot.
You stink.
You smell bad.
And then I will raise my shield.
All right, Zerg. As we come around to you, as this warrior charges, him running towards you with his club, Lizard Man running right past him, both charging the bulk of the enemy forces. You also are slapped with this stench. Make me a fortitude save.
I sleep next to lizard. Stench is nothing.
This is something else. Nope, I'm wrong.
He was right.
He was
Sleep next to
right.
lizard. Why you think I want my own
That
room?
is super rude.
And super true. Good.
Not wrong. Doesn't affect him. Go ahead, Zerg.
So this guy's sprinting at me.
He's sprinting towards kind of just the group of you back there. He drew a club and he's just running at you with club raised.
Well, I'm gonna sprint back and spear tackle him.
Here you go. Spear.
So
With athletics.
run right at him. Give me the
with a
athletics
+1.
check.
Remember your +1.
And I want to like spear him and bring him down to the ground prone.
All right, yeah, you got a +1 from Arabis' guidance.
23.
23 will absolutely succeed. As you slam into him, these two running at each other, Zerg checks him. Knocks this dude head over heels backwards, landing on his shoulders on the ground, prone.
Is that run, spear tackle?
That's, yeah, two.
third
We got
action?
one left.
Fist to the face on the ground. Why not?
Just go down after him.
Yep.
All right, the -4,
11.
11, as he goes down.
Session
He's gonna-
reroll.
Oh, okay. 10.
Yeah, okay, I'll leave that. That's fine. I don't want to get this worse.
As you slam a fist on the ground, he barely manages to roll out of the way, taking some of the force of your strike to clear this at least a little bit. And this warrior near the back is going to rush forward, drawing his club before attempting to slam it down on Lizard Man, as Lizard Man just rips one of these trogs apart, swinging his club overhead with a 19 as he closes.
And I just use my shield and I just whack it out. I just like knock it aside.
One of the first two of the pair in the back, the first to move to react as he goes to move away from his kill here, darts behind the tree line over to your right, a little to the east, before disappearing. Taking cover behind the tree.
Jerk
That
move. That's all good. Well, there is a nice piece of unattended flesh right in front of me that I am in range of with a telekinetic missile, and I imagine in a forest like this, there's no shortage of things I can throw at him.
Absolutely not. You have your choice of rocks and sticks, whatever it is you want to throw at this guy.
Well, I mean, it's been a lot of like rocks and sticks, so I feel like I need to branch out. I'm tossing a branch.
Still a stick.
Still a stick.
Okay. At the one that's on the ground in front of Zig.
Don't
Yep.
be a stick in the mud.
Or a 25.
25 will critically hit as he's prone on the ground.
Eat 22 damage.
He is super dead.
What? Stick for the skull.
What just happened?
Zerg knocks him down, lands a fist, and as he rolls from that, you just see a stick come flying out from the forest next to you, just right through the Trog's head, and he just stops moving.
Oh.
Is it one action?
Yes, but I have nothing to spend on, so I guess I'll move in here.
And the last of the Trogs now also running forth to join his allies in this glorious battle, drawing out a javelin and throwing it out towards Lizard Man. Now at a much more reasonable range, it sails towards you for a 19.
And I really understand how this works here. So this time I'm just batting it away. This is a tried and true method here. I would just bat it away with my shield.
And yet, no challenge whatsoever to deflect that as you're fighting Arabis. Back to the top of the round.
Okay, I am. Gonna. I'm gonna double move up to in between Mr. Batsky and Selwyn. And I'm gonna raise my shield again.
As you and Selwyn get to the front line here, you're both hit with this overwhelming stench. I'm gonna need you both making fortitude saves.
All right.
Kind of figured I would. Even dead, they still smell terrible.
You're actually in range of a living one.
Oh, well.
It's a
Even alive, they smell terrible.
very smelly. But both of you are able to shrug it off. No real problem.
I'm catching a reoccurring theme with the smell thing going on.
So I was telling Brenda the other day, it's crazy that this group has so many different scent interactions and there's so many scent effects in book one. How do you do that? Stop. How do you do that? How did you measure the ruler from a point?
Please tell me how to.
You right click as you're dragging it around.
Oh my god!
I was just trying to figure out how to do that.
That's amazing!
Yeah, I'm a genius, guys. Chat, everyone. You just right click, don't hold it. Yep.
Holy crap, that is so useful.
My mind just broke, dude.
Technology. I'm good at it.
My dude. Anyway, go ahead with your turn.
I'm gonna.
You got a clip for this week.
You get a +2 to your next attack.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
double
you
move
just crit whatever you do next. Like, I'll give you one for free.
A double move. I think. I lost track. I know what. I double move.
There were too many rulers on the screen.
I just double move right here. I know
What
that's in
you
range.
especially?
I double move to right there because I know that's in range.
Okay.
And then I elemental toss some burning embers left over on the dude that Lizard Man just killed onto the closest ugly dude.
Closest ugly dude. Wow.
I'm gonna session reroll
Okay.
for 28.
Oh! Hey, thank you, real funny. I said he crits the next thing he did, and you gave it to me.
Did.
And with a blast of fire, you will immediately drop that Trog in a wash of flames.
Yes.
He makes that
I
noise
agree.
and goes down. Oh, falls
He
to the
said my
ground,
name. He said
smoldering.
my name.
All right, this warrior here just ran up and threw a javelin. He's gonna step up to Lizard Man, drawing a club before he just swings it in wide towards your flank with a 13.
And I'm going to stare at it and slowly lower my shield. I'm like, you guys just don't really understand this, do you?
He doesn't.
He literally does not seem to understand you, no. Lizard Man.
I'm going to, as he's coming in low for an attack, I'm going to grab the other end of his weapon, and I am going to hold it as I bring my fist, kind of pull him forward with the thing, and just punch him right in the face. Good leveraging.
Pull him in for it.
Yeah. It didn't really work as well as I thought it was going to.
Yeah, 14 he is going to be able to dip under.
Well, weird. So I'm gonna try that again. Second hit, so that's -4. So that is a 20.
20 will connect.
For 8 damage.
All
And
right.
then I will raise my shield again.
Battling with this man in the center of the field, Zerg.
Zerg is going to sudden charge to the second
Please
motherfucker.
tell me he doesn't again.
We high five as you go back.
It's just run past. Give me your attack roll.
And yeah, literally the exact same thing.
Spare! I love it.
With a 24. 25.
Well, no, you want. Well,
Guidance is 1 turn, so you had that
yeah,
last
it's just
turn.
one.
Oh, right.
So with that 24, definitely gonna hit.
When does... Hang on, sorry. Oh, as damage bonus from the hand wraps, I forgot.
The item bonus is included now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? Sweet.
Yeah, Zerg is you.
Then 8 damage as I spear into him and bring him down to the ground.
It's not gonna bring him down to the ground. He
Okay.
takes the 8 damage because he plants his feet and eats it as you slam into him.
Wow.
But you're gonna hear some crunching as you connect with this Trog. Leaving you with 1 action.
So, as I've speared into him, he's managed to hold me off. We're arm in arm now locked, and I'm gonna go for a headbutt.
All right, unarmed at -4.
Oh no!
Natural
Did it hit?
20!
Did it hit?
It hits, Mono. It hits. You fucker.
Does he even have a skull anymore? Like,
I mean,
For 16 damage, which is his entire health bar in a single hit, no, he probably doesn't.
So, barreling in, locked arms, head comes back, and Zerg puts his face forward, expecting to meet some resistance, but there's just a lot of squelching sounds as this thing's skull breaks around Zerg's eyes. And
Oh,
now
they're doing a
leaning
Mortal
over his
Kombat
neck.
finisher.
Yeah. Where did he go?
Where is he?
From behind, it would look like this thing has Zerg's head on backwards.
oh man! Oh my god!
Savage.
Breaking from the tree line, that appears to be the leader of the Trogs, would leap forth from his cover, sprinting a few steps and then jumping, daggers in hand, raised, as he brings them down like fangs towards Zerg. You are flat-footed against this attack, as you had no
Am I?
time to react. So it's a.
With deny advantage.
Does the night advantage specifically flanking, or is it all flat-footed?
You aren't flat-footed to hidden, undetected, or flanking creatures of your level or
Motherfucker.
lower.
All right, fine. You're not flat-footed. Every time
Nothing fun ever happens.
comes down with a 25. Fuck you.
25? Yeah, all right, fine, I deserve that.
And it's gonna cut you for 5 damage. It's a fairly small, jagged knife that he brings ripping down across you before assuming a fighting stance. Very small weapon.
I'm going to immediately enter rage as a reaction. You sneak up on Zerg? Nobody sneaks up on Zerg!
Uh-oh.
And as he stabs you, instantly pissed, he rages.
Oh, he's got a monkey for.
I got you a rage token, buddy.
There it is.
I love it!
Good.
Nice.
How exciting! That's fun, I love that!
Selwyn.
Well, I shall walk to here. And pulling out the stick I thrust through one guy's skull, I will attempt to do the same with the monkey next to Lizard
All right.
for a 12. It's
This
pretty
one
broken at this point.
seems to be the only remotely competent fighter of the group. He's had a moment to get his bearings. You guys have now descended. You're in fighting, and he ducks that one as he still tries to dip to avoid Lizardman's claw. Arabis.
I am going to follow behind with Selwyn, staying right next to her, and seeing that she was having challenge with that last toss and probably cussing to herself right now. I'm gonna hold out my hand and flicker some lightning bolts out of my fingertips as I electric arc these two boys.
All right. The blast of electricity. I need 2 reflex saves. And
Yes.
their modifiers are different. So the one is having everything thrown at him right now.
Oh, garbage.
Is going to get a natural 1
Oh,
and is just what happens to him?
Okay, so as I'm like sitting there lightning, and he's just cooking. There's smoke comes out of his eyes, and then he just drops.
Can dodge claw, can dodge stick, cannot dodge lightning. But their leader is gonna get a 28, nearly dodging out of the way of the bolt entirely.
Very quick.
So he is
Very
going
quick.
to take half. And he also seems to be significantly sturdier than his comrades. Aura, remind me, are you completely immune to sense?
We've determined that I don't have a nose.
You don't.
So, but that is not written in rules. So if you want to say,
Make it smells so bad it permeates the wood that makes up your body. It's worse. You can feel it. Make me a fortitude
I
save.
can feel this.
I'm really feeling
Leaves are
it.
curling.
18.
Unpleasant, but you're okay.
Everything's unpleasant when you're around these guys.
They're not very pleasant people.
Well, I'm talking about the party.
Oof.
Nice.
What? Rude.
Good
That was out
setup,
of
Squid.
character.
Lizard Man surrounded by 3 corpses. What?
I'm gonna do my tried and true method of reaching produce flame. Just want to reach out and burn something on the leader for a 29
Critically hits.
Oh my God.
for 12 fire damage and then persistent 2d4 burn.
What do you do? What do you do, you shit?
He's. For a moment I shudder because I can feel the smell, and that's an odd sensation. And I reach inside of me and pull up as much fire as I can, and push a wave of fire towards them, kind of catching the remaining embers off the other 2 dudes I helped burn, and just incinerating
He
them.
also falls absolutely consumed in flame as Zerg turns toward him raged. His gorilla form overwhelming him, ape fists, to see his small charred corpse on the ground.
But Zig, look at all that steak.
trying to incinerate the smell away.
Zig, steak. Zig, look at the steak.
The thought of eating retracts the ape form back. Oh yes, I'm pretty hungry. Yes.
Yeah, they got like a whole cow here.
That goes in chat apparently when I change you back.
Rolling toe.
I'm not sure why, but it changes you back in chat.
Strange.
Okay, that's weird.
I'll take it.
Sure.
Let's
Instead
see.
of rolling, I'm glad that you rolled him and not some other character. Like, Zerg miraculously turns into like someone else.
Something completely
So just gonna just grab that little stabby shanky knife and just cut off a big hunk of this meat and pants it.
So this beast here, fairly large oxen, it just looks like these trogs had taken down and were dragging back for food for the same reason. So it's very freshly killed. They were actively in the process of bringing it back to the tower, and it is going to be some damn good eating. Maybe.
I'm good at eating. I'm good at eating meat.
Are you just pantsing the raw, uncooked
Just a hunk of it, yeah, like a
beef
handful.
hunk?
Yeah,
Blood running down your thighs out the side of your chainmail leotard.
it's fine.
What do you? What? Okay.
Well, we have to remember where this is. So, because I want some of this later when we like.
Why don't
go
we
to bed.
just take a break and cook some food for you guys?
Sure. I mean, we could just.
You
if
have
we
been
got a lot
traveling
of-
for a good part of the day, and it's probably about time for a food break anyway before you continue the final leg of this journey up to the tower
Sick.
itself.
I've got a
I just
great idea.
recommend you don't let Zerg cook.
No. I've got a great idea. Zig. So
Yeah, don't let
you
Zig
just
cook.
like stick it through with a stick and then just put it over the fire. I've seen this done before.
As a matter of
Like,
fact,
Hey, here's a fun idea. Ara, I throw this, you catch it with fireball. Cook it in midair. Looks cool. You like this?
I mean,
Okay, go. And I throw it.
I produce flame it. Like
Keep it
without
up
even
there.
thinking, just reaction.
That could be Make an attack roll.
Oh boy.
20.
20 will easily hit a small piece of meat flying through the air. And as the little fireball flies up from Ara and connects with it, it lands back. Just are you catching it, or do you just like throw it
In
away?
the pants.
Catching it in the pants. As it plops down, you can see seared on one side, still completely raw all the rest of the way
It's
through.
not
That's
cooked
the best
properly.
kind of meat. Good job. Hey,
Oh,
Lan, you really
no.
got this down.
Thank you.
It's not the best kind
One
of meat.
Make
side
it
of it's
snack later.
just char, and the rest of it is flesh.
Perfect. Man, we're really good at this.
This
You know,
isn't
you should be
even
a
blue
chef.
rare. This is just raw.
Same difference I've had. So, let's get this on a big fire. We're gonna have to go get lots of wood for a big fire.
I think I'm going to pick some berries or something.
I'm gonna start gathering firewood. That's not me.
I can go get firewood. Besides, Arabis, don't you know, like, using all the parts of the animal and, like, all that stuff?
That's just a choice. I'm not big with that.
Okay, how are you gonna get your protein? No wonder you're so small.
I'm not that small.
You're tiny.
Can I-
Try and pick
You're
up
pretty
this rock.
small.
Can you pick up the
I
rock?
mean, that's.
She's got a point.
Are you trying to challenge me to pick up the rock?
I mean, if you can't, I feel like you should eat the meat.
Okay. Okay. I will try to pick up the rock. How heavy is the rock?
I don't know.
How big of a rock is it?
Big rock.
Big
Something
rock.
I could pick up.
Make me an athletics check, Arabis.
Oh, great.
It's
Oh, my
not-
armor! No! All right. Okay. Okay.
Something you need like 10 strength to pick up or something, maybe.
Well, how's a 4?
Arabis cannot pick up the rock. Arabis is a very frail woman physically.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here?
This is very heavy, lizard.
Oh yeah. So heavy. Man.
26 will
I
easily
pick up
critically
Arabis
succeed.
and the rock. See this? Good meat. See this, Seg? This is what's good meat.
Okay, I will share the meal with you. I will have some meat. A
Perfect.
deal is a deal.
Yes. So who's cooking it?
I thought Seg was. He's great.
No, Zerg is not.
No.
Are you gonna cook it?
I've been watching the cooks in camp. I can do what they do, but I
Perfect.
can't taste it.
It's okay. I'm gonna go get some wood.
Don't make me a crafting check, really, because it's just raw meat. I don't think this falls in the banner of survival. This is just simple cooking, and it's a very easy DC. But
It's crafting stuff, and Ara is really skilled at crafting stuff.
Oh, is he now?
I've heard.
Extremely.
Well,
He
good
can't
thing you
taste the
have
meat.
quick
Ara
repair.
understands the core concept of cooking. This is it's not a critical failure. This isn't a Zerg ruin the pot situation. But he understands the concept of cooking. He's seen the cooks. You just put the meat in the fire. So he makes a big fire. He just puts the meat in the fire. And just lets it cook. And cook.
Cooks out. Hey,
And
I'd
cook.
start grabbing it out. I'd grab it out when it was done.
It would still be pretty burnt around the outside, as he doesn't understand that that's not really what you're going for. He doesn't eat food. He just kind
You
of
sound like
sees
such
food.
a picky
I've
eater. I mean, obviously, any meat is good.
Photosynthesize. I eat the sunlight.
Is that the way it is supposed to look?
Probably.
So you'll end up with, if Lizard Man's able to save it, you grab it out. The inside is fine, medium at worst. The outside is kind of blackened and charred.
Oh, that's perfect.
But they're perfectly edible. Just crunchy.
Oh, just pull off the black parts.
Yep, sounds good to
Place food on heat. Congratulations, you have cooked.
It's as simple as that.
So the group of you rest for a little while here, eating some of this kill that the Trogs were so kind to leave for you. Readying yourself and preparing.
As disgusting as they are, they're pretty nice.
Lizard Man did take a javelin, was 100% of... Oh, and Zerg got mildly cut. Both the wounds look pretty minor, but while you're waiting anyway,
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Arabis can pretty easily treat you both. It's still probably an hour to the tower, so don't have to worry about any cooldowns. Oh, it doesn't matter because you have
Yeah,
continual
I have
recovery now.
the 10-minute thing now, so
So even if it was 10 minutes to the tower, you'd be fine. Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
okay. I guess
Let's just assume you're going for trained because they're barely hurt.
Yeah. 22.
Succeeds. 2d8 health back.
All right. Receive 14 each of you.
Perfect.
So easily topping off the pair. Readying you to continue your journey onward.
Cool. Well, I guess we
As
hang out
you
with
get
the
up,
tower.
throw some dirt over your fire and get ready to continue walking towards the tower, now about probably 3 miles away. You all feel a chill roll over you as the ambient temperature of the air seems to drop by 15, 20 degrees in the blink of an eye.
That's not healthy
Going for a
plants.
pleasant, warm, sunny day to a bit chilly.
Is this while we're walking, or is this like?
As
while
soon as you
we're-
get up to leave.
I sit back down and then stand up again.
Nothing happens.
Okay. I'm gonna like feel my forehead. Maybe I need to drink more water. I feel like maybe I'm getting dehydrated. Dig, you have any water?
What?
Oh
No.
my God, useless. You don't have meat. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll be fine.
What else do you need?
Water, apparently.
And by this point, the temperature already has almost climbed back up to what it was originally. Pleasant 78-ish.
That's not healthy for plants. I want you to understand that. That puts them into shock.
It just dropped for a few seconds and then bounced back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is not good.
That's really weird.
Yes.
Strange weather patterns.
Yeah, very weird. Okay, well, I guess on we go.
There was no visible change in the environment, the weather overhead, or anything. It just got pretty cold for a minute. Well, not even pretty
think
cold,
it's
just a bit
because-
chilly.
I think it's because we like stood up all at one time. I
It
think
might
that's
have been the cooking.
Probably what.
Probably wasn't either of those things.
How do you
Probably
know?
way worse than that.
Well, that's because you're a pessimist. Okay, so let's keep going.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Selwyn always calls other people that.
I don't always call people pessimists. That's
Someone calls people a lot of things. There's
Yeah.
also
quite a
true.
list.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
The journey the rest of the way to the tower is, fortunately, uneventful and bereft of further trogs. It's not long until you finally arrive at the foot of the massive pillar. 200 feet stretching up into the air. And as you get closer, with the sun still shining overhead, it's probably about 3 in the afternoon, you can barely make out from this distance the Aeon Orb the Reginald was talking about. A decently sized ball, about 3 feet in diameter, glowing with a pale white light, slowly orbiting around the edge of the tower. As you come closer at the foot of the tower, its light is almost as bright as the sun, but it's difficult to see from a distance during the day as it's just a beacon of light against the daylight, and you're walking through a decently forested area. But from here, it's very apparent. It's about 40 feet out from the actual top of the tower, making a fairly wide circumference around as it drifts.
Sweet.
And as you head up to the western side, as Reginald had advised, you can see a landing about a quarter of the way almost up the tower with a switchback path zigzagging up 40 feet to the small wooden landing. The whole tower and the landing and the path itself all looks like one just big contiguous blob of mud brick. No difference in the materials, no designs, nothing. As plain as it's physically possible to be.
Interesting.
So as we approach, are you all exploration mode? Everyone seeking but Lizard Man scouting? Want to change as we approach the tower itself?
I want to change to, I believe it's called searching, looking for concealed hazards and so on.
That's what I already had you doing. It's like looking.
That's perfect, and I will
Looking
continue
around.
to do that.
I had
will have
literally
my shield
everyone
up.
but Lizard Man doing that who was scouting. And Lizard now
Yeah,
has a
I'm good.
shield raised in front of him, unsure of what may be inside this tower. The rest of you good with your seeking?
Yep.
As you climb up, the tower itself is surprisingly steep, and it's very smooth, as are all the surfaces of this tower. Smooth, almost faintly glistening, clean mud brick. It appears that some little bits of wood have been hammered into the ramp itself, somewhat haphazardly, to make it a bit easier to climb. But it's still pretty challenging. It's almost a 45-degree incline. It's gonna take an athletics check to be able to ascend this.
So I'll go up first, and I will throw a rope down, and I can help you guys up. Yeah?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
So make me an athletics check, Lizard Man.
18.
18. So with an 18, you would, with some difficulty, thanks to your clawed feet, be able to get a decent grip here as you make your way up the switchback. It heads up, turns back around, heading up the other way, before a third final loop heads up to the landing itself. And as you go to climb this last bit of landing, you can see, obscured from the ground, the doorway. About 10 feet by 10 feet, simply a hole in the side of the tower, with a staircase descending what looks like incredibly far down into the heart of the tower itself. The tower is not entirely featureless, you realize as you reach the top here. There are a pair of carvings made of stone flanking either side of the door, depicting strange winged creatures.
This place, whoever made this place, is weird sense of ease of access, I would say. I would throw down a rope, and it wouldn't really help a whole lot, except for that if they fell, I would be able to catch them if they tied it around. Other than that, I don't know, because it goes switchbacking, it would be really hard to help.
Yeah. So you pull it out with a rope in hand, toss one end of it down towards your party waiting below. And as you do, with a sound of grating stone, the two statues lunge towards you. The guardians of the tower activating.
Bad sign, guys. Bad sign.
Friends, I'm going to need you to roll me some more initiative.
I may session reroll it. I need both initiative, please.
Have black screen.
I have a black screen.
I have no idea what's going on. I'll also go to the list.
I pulled you.
I can't see a thing.
I can't see my guy, so I can't.
I don't know why.
I can see, so I don't have a problem, which
Yeah, I
is
don't-
very helpful.
Let me see. I can fix
Oh
this.
god.
That was menacing.
Pretty
Sonic.
angry. Can you see
Yeah.
Nazak?
Yes.
I just
Sort
turned
of.
your
I can see
has sight
stairs.
off and back on, so I'm gonna guess this is a weird little roll 20 hiccup.
There we go.
I just
I'm good.
checked and unchecked has sight. It works, right?
There we go. I can see myself now.
Oh, I click my. Can. There we go. Technology is amazing.
Alrighty.
I had myself selected.
You're just really bad at this.
You are super bad at rolling initiative, my dude. It's okay.
It
I'll
said
let
you
know
wanted
that.
to send the result of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected.
Been there.
Well,
Done that.
Haven't been there.
You
I'm not
gotta
a
select the
screw up.
token, my dude. Alrighty. So, Aura and Lizard Man are the first to react. Aura, alert. Lizard Man, well, there. Makes sense. Who wants to go first?
Lizard can go first.
so how far up is this, did you say?
So this switchback goes down below, and it's about 45 degrees, so every square is 5 feet down. Dropping in the middle is a 20-foot drop.
Okay.
So dropping down from where you are would be 20 feet.
20 foot total. Okay.
And then another 20 feet down to where the party is.
Okie dokie, I guess I will start walking back down the hill, just regular style.
So
With
as
another
you
time check.
as you move to get on the ramp here, to keep yourself defended as you move, I'm gonna need an acrobatics check to balance on the ramp.
Balance
Down is acrobatics, up is athletics.
Wow. Okay. Well, 11.
So you fail, which does help you with what you want to do. You fall 10 feet down the stairs. Where you are going to end up prone.
Okay.
2 actions left.
And then I'm
You see a
going to
lizard man, you hear growling, stone cracking and roaring, you see lizard man immediately bolt, fall, and eat shit down the ramp.
watch out. There's some things, and they have wings, and I am not impressed with this place so far. And so I have 2 actions left. I am going to get up, and hunker down next to this wall.
Moving over to it is going to require another acrobatics check to balance.
Is that not up though?
Athletics check to climb then, sorry. I guess it's kind of level.
Yeah, I would say athletics check for sure. 16?
16 will succeed.
So I'm gonna
Will
hunker down,
succeed.
try and get like close to this wall so that they don't pluck me off.
So, Ara, you realistically can you can see Lizard Man up on the slope, just barely kind of scrabbling. You can't actually see these creatures quite yet.
I'm gonna start my ascent up the
That's
slope
realistically where the
then.
wall is. Alrighty. Make
Yeah.
me an athletics check.
Ooh, I get half my level to this because I'm trying to copy the lizard.
Was that
I
after
rolled
the
an
11?
11. Yeah, I rolled an 11.
11 has you scrabbling at the bottom of the ramp. And unable, trying to copy him. You're copying the fallen down part. Not super
I'm
copying
pretty good
the
at
getting
that
up
part.
moving
Pretty
over
good.
there and trying to climb it too. You got 1 action left.
I'm gonna continue to try to do nothing. So I'm gonna athletics again to try to get back up.
Oh boy. Oh,
Yeah, you
boy.
have a tough
So
time
this is
there.
how it's gonna go. Okay. I
Don't
like
worry.
it.
This gargoyle is going to fly forth from where it is, flapping through the air and appearing before everyone, flying just above the ramp, around the corner over Lizard Man as he goes to retreat. As he flies over, his clawed feet swipe down at you. And do you have anything that stops you from being flat-footed while you're climbing? You do, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
then you're not flat-footed. But he's going to sweep one clawed foot down towards you for a 23.
And that will hit. That does
And-
hit. No, yes, that hits.
The second for a 13.
Alright, the first one catches me by surprise, and the second one does not.
And his claw, as he comes around the corner, barely scraping across you, is only going to deal 6 damage.
I'm really hunkered into this wall here.
Yeah, he
trying
can't really
to,
get down to you super well around the ramp. Arabis, you can see this creature now seeming to be made of raw stone, scratching down towards Lizard Man, flying about 5 feet above him.
All right, I see that occur, and Lizard is now being attacked. I have a target. I will narrow my gaze, arms at my sides, open up my hands, and swirling dark cloud starts spinning around this thing. And then, boom, a lightning strike out of it as I Tempest Surge.
Alrighty. I'm going to use a villain point. Oh, it's Tempest Surge, never mind. I thought it was fucking Sudden Bolt. I don't care, he can fail that. He's kind of focused on attacking Lizard Man. And he's going to get a 12 on his reflex save as this rolls over him. So we'll take 19 damage. The crackling lightning seeming to be surprisingly effective against a creature made near solidly of stone. And does it do something else if it fails?
Persistent electricity damage.
Persistent electricity damage.
Makes him clumsy.
And, yeah,
And he's clumsy. Really wish your thing said that. But it's okay as long as you know. Clumsy. Foot. I got one action left.
It's weird. It says it in the sheet. I am put my shield up.
That's good. We'll figure it later. You got one action left?
Oh, shield up.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Hearing this this incantation and seeing these blasts of lightning, the second gargoyle is going to fly over the edge of the platform, hovering directly above Arabis. And it flies down, dropping, wings folded to its back like a stone, jaws wide as it fans them out the last moment to catch itself, sweeping up at you with a stone-toothed maw. And that is going to be a 33 to bite.
Okay. How does shield block work as a reaction?
You use a shield block, and it reduces the damage you take by the hardness of your shield. You have just a basic wooden shield?
Yeah.
So it is going to reduce the damage you take by 3.
Yeah. Okay. That's. Well, that is a. It's a critical hit on me.
So he is going to bite you for 20 damage. Reduced by your shield, so 17, and it is going to obliterate your shield. It's gone. It's fragments. Staying also hovering just above her. It would realistically be in the same square as Arabis, but for confusion, I guess I'll do this. It's right above her. Selwyn.
Well, at least it's in front of us now. I'll step up. I'm in range, right?
You are in
Stepping
range, yes.
into it. All right. We really like. I can't reach.
Help!
And I will twin feint this gargoyle
Okay.
for a 18 on the first hit.
18, your first sword is going to strike, but just clatter across it like you're hitting a statue, doing nothing.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure how I sneak attack a statue, but I will thrust for the pelvis, I suppose.
Get the
For a
meat shot.
29 minus 4, so 25
25, and he's flat-footed, will absolutely hit.
for 12 damage.
So even as you line up this second hit here, seeming much more well-aimed than the first. You feel as if its stone form is pretty massively reducing your damage. Weapons seem to be pretty ineffective against the creatures. Zerg.
Zerg is gonna just let me survey this a little better because I'm trying to get a feel for where.
So
the
you
one
can
that's
walk
near
up.
Lizard
You
Man.
can walk up next. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you wanted one near you.
The one that's near Lizard Man, is that flying currently?
They're both flying. Yeah.
They're both flying. Okay.
They're both about 5 feet off the ground, so they're in reach where you can hit them from the ground because they're swiping down with their claws.
I would like to take a running leap to try and grab onto it in midair. The one that's closer to Lizard Man, if I can. Is that?
So getting there is going to be an act of probably 3 actions and 2 athletics checks.
True.
because
Okay.
You have to come up this ramp.
Good point. I'll go for the one that's closer to us then.
Yeah, you'd have to get up
running
there.
leap.
You'd have to
Hold
go
on.
all the way around like this.
I'll look at you using your fancy ruler.
I know. I learned a new trick today. It was neat.
Who taught you how to do that?
But you can absolutely
yeah.
try and leap for this one.
Yeah, I'll do a running leap for this one.
So as you run
And grab on.
you leap up to it, it swipes down at you with a claw as it readies itself. And that claw is going to lash out kind of errantly for a 19.
It doesn't hit me. I duck under that and I'm still running.
Alrighty, and as you jump up, he's low enough you don't need an athletics check to reach him to grab him. I will say realistically, you're off kind of decide to sell one, but the map edge is right here, so we work with what we
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Give me your athletics check. Run.
18.
And with an 18, you're gonna grab, but with no give on him. He's just like stone. You just kind of slide off
Okay.
and end up back on the ground from whence you came. Lizard Man.
Okay, I have seen that weapons are no mere match for these mortals, so I will hit it with my claw.
You probably can't realistically see it after it flew down to fight the group. You just hear weapons and stuff, because it would have dropped down below the ramp that you're on.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I would still hit it with my claw. Either way.
Give it the business, yeah. Doesn't change the outcome. Slap it.
Aha! With an 18. Not an 18 on the die, 30 attack.
All right, with a 30, as you kind of steady yourself here, that is going to hit.
Okie dokie. So that's 5 damage, and then I will.
And
try
that
to
is
do again.
almost worthless. Almost doing nearly nothing. Barely chipping his stone hide.
I am going to. Yeah, that's fine. I will try and do that again. I don't learn. What do you mean, learning? So yeah, so that would be for a 16 anyways.
That 16 is going to scrape across the stone.
And then I will hunker down again, bring up my shield.
All right. Ara. Muted.
I can't talk either. I
Well,
can see
said
the one
muted, I
next.
saw you say muted, but we couldn't hear you because you were still muted. You just-
So I can see the one next to Lizard, right?
Yes, because it's flying idiot. You can see both. Lizard from the top can only see the one near him.
Okay, then I'm going to cast a reach produce flame at him.
He needs some
'cause
fire.
He needs to feel the heat.
Oh, he's clumsy
I need
too,
to be
actually.
more confident in my attacks.
It's not going to do it. Yeah,
Roll a 14 to hit.
14 won't do it.
Yeah.
Given the clumsy condition, but the clumsy would have made your first strike a crit, Bryn. So you would have done a bit more damage, but it still would have been pretty largely negated.
Oh,
That's all she wrote. For the little fire bush.
So this gargoyle here, still just kind of flapping above Lizard Man, is gonna reach down with its whole body, bringing its massive stony jaws down towards you, just trying to clamp on whatever bit of claw or arm it can reach for a 26.
and that'll. I'm pretty hunkered down, but it does end up being able to hit.
as his jaws scrape
It's
across you
hard to get
for
a really good hit.
15 damage. He flaps his mighty wings to move away from you, but not before lashing one more claw swipe down for a 26.
And that's the same thing.
Which is going to slice you for 12. Before he flies up back atop the main platform, leaving your reach for an AOO.
Oh, perfect. 19.
19 will hit him while he's clumsy too.
Okay, and then that's for, I'm guessing, 3 damage. Well, 6 damage.
Yeah, 1 damage, but
One
damage is damage, right? At the end of the turn, how long is he clumsy for, by the way?
2 rounds.
Turn. The natural 20, the persistent damage is going to end, but not before he takes 2 more lightning damage. He said 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Okay, so he's clumsy for 1 more round. Arabis, you 3 at the bottom can only see the one that is right above you, and this gargoyle is directly above you. Now, flying.
Ah, you shattered my shield.
You obliterated your shield, it's splinters.
I would like to try to move away from this man. Or gargoyle, or thing, I guess. Not even really a man, it's a...
Now, you can't move out to the left.
Extinction
This is just where the
is
end of the map is, so it's like, again, we work with what we got. It's pretty clear, left of the map. If you want to move out, we can use this flag icon to denote how far out to the left you are.
Actually, if I can get up towards Aura, that's fine, I guess. If I could just get past them. Maybe on the other side.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so get away from the gargoyle that just
And-
shattered my beautiful wooden shield.
He hasn't gone again yet. He already used his reaction. Okay.
That's what I was hoping for. And I don't know if it'll work, but I'll hold out my fingers and electric arc him and hopefully to hit the guy up top too. Is that how? I mean, do I have to see him
You
both?
can't see the one up top. He's up around the landing. Nobody can see him anymore. You can electric arc just one gargoyle though. That is
Yeah,
legal.
let's do that.
No, that is illegal. You can't do it.
Can't do it.
And as this lightning courses into the one striking at you, he is going to attempt to evade it with the 12. He's going to take 11 damage. The lightning seeming much more effective than weapons. Now, the gargoyle here has got his choice. But he's got a very small edible thing and a very large chainmail thing. So it's going to flap down and just try to attempt to eat the small edible thing that's whacking it with a pointy object.
I'm not that edible, I swear.
His jaws snapping towards Selwyn for a hero point from Aragon.
one's not a
Villain
chew toy.
point. Villain point from Aragon Rider. Snapping down towards Selwyn for a 25.
That is a hit.
And as he bites, you will take 17 damage
Oh, God.
before he
Dirty
kicks
boy.
out with one clawed foot for a 14.
Dodge out of the way of that one.
And then he is going to fly a bit further up in the air, ending up about 20 feet above the ground, just below the lip of this switchback that Lizard Man's on. Far out of reach of any of your weapons now. Selwyn.
Well, this guy's an asshole, and as such, I will follow in the footsteps of my lovely assistant, Gray, and cast Electric Arc on it. DC 19.
Alrighty, and as he flaps back to dodge, he's going to get a 16, so he's going to fail.
He takes 6 damage. I'm not as good at this as her.
But it's working. It's ticking away.
And I will intimidate him. He may see me as a snack, but I'll prove to him I am more than that.
Is that supposed to rhyme?
No, but I am going to re-roll that with one of my mini hero points.
So,
18.
how many do you have right now?
Oh, I had the hard cap 7.
7? Okay, so I don't have to change your modifier down to 6.
Yeah.
Tell me when you get below 5, because then I gotta change the
Oh, dear,
overlay.
buddy.
18. He doesn't seem to be very afraid, but he
Bullshit.
grumbles back. You are but food before school.
Yikes.
All right,
They
cool.
can
cool.
talk?
They can
Zerg.
talk.
What?
That's
Zerg is gonna just do his best effort to get up the ramp and get up the very top there.
Alrighty. So you're gonna move up here, then make me an athletics check.
30.
Easy. I'll get you
Oh, yeah.
1 stride up, 1 switch back. Speed 25, right?
That didn't crit? Oh, I guess that doesn't matter if you crit or not.
The crit doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no critical success here. That's why he moved his full speed. And then you can make another athletics check will get you up next to Zerg. Or to Lizard Man. You are Zerg. You're always next to Zerg.
17.
That's a success. And you see Zerg clambering his way up this next to you, Lizard Man.
Really not safe up here, Zig, but glad to hear. So how far out is this one? The one that's flying out, the one that I can't see?
He's pretty much, you can probably see the tip of his wings now as he flaps, because he's like there's the ledge of the switchback, he's right below it. He'd be like, in range of the side of it, he's just right below the lip.
Okay. So I would take my Eckles and then swing it and try and slam it down, maybe knock one of his wings there or something.
Okay, he's got cover, but you can go for it.
I don't see me doing much else. So it's 24
That 24 will hit.
for 9 bludgeoning damage.
Still fairly reduced. But damage is damage. You're wearing him down.
And then I will reel back my Eckles.
Okay. Ara.
I am going to attempt again to get up this ledge. This time imitating Zerg, who did it much better than I could have.
Alright, give me your athletics check.
With a 22,
Oh, baby.
a natural 20.
Yeah, but there's that.
You get 1 stride up the switchback.
Can I see Lizard Man clearly now? I'm pretty sure.
No, he's around the corner.
No.
You can see Zerg.
I need to see Lizard.
Because the
But I
corner's
am
right here.
Yeah. Dang it. Angles. Geometry.
Yeah, it's 45. It's a very
Um,
steep switchback.
It's very steep. I don't like steep climbs. I mean, can I see that one gargoyle that everyone's been rolling on?
The one off the side of the ledge, yeah, we'd be
Yeah.
next to you. The one on the top is like 20 feet above you and only 10 feet above the platform, so nobody can see
Yeah,
him
no.
at the moment.
I don't care about that one.
Zerg,
I care about the one.
baby.
I'm just gonna produce flame at him, I guess.
While you're clinging here, yeeting out some fire.
I am going to hero point
You're
and
Clinging.
hope for something better with the 21.
hero pointing out some fire. And
21?
21 is absolutely going to hit.
For 14 fire damage.
With 14 damage, that'll be enough to drop the first of these gargoyles, who will crash into the ground beneath him with a massive slam. Clinging to the edge of the platform, you shoot this along the side. The other gargoyle, still kind of clumsy.
That's
Huh?
nothing.
Oh. The other gargoyle, still with the clumsiness on him, calls out, "Brother! No matter. Zevgavizeb will deal with you." And fucks off. Flying out around the tower.
Coward.
Shooting off, wrapping around the corner of the tower, out of sight.
Yeah, well, bada beep, bada boop, we'll deal with you.
Tell him.
Stupid gargoyle.
You told.
Yes.
I guess I will climb back up onto the ledge and drop down a rope again to help Arabis and Ara, who's looking kind of wobbly.
Kind of hanging there,
So
having a difficult time.
I guess another athletics.
The group of you, without anything to contest you, are going to have no real problem in getting the rest of the group up onto the ledge with you. You have a rope you have Lizard Man and Zerg at the top. It may take a couple of tries and some minutes. We'll certainly be able to help Arabis, Ara, and Selwyn up onto the platform without too much further effort. And here, on the landing, before the doorway, heading down into Aeon Tower, is where we will leave our adventures for the day. We will leave this week's episode to come back next week and descend into the center of the tower. Its guardians outside already proving somewhat formidable. Lizard Man and Arabis having taken pretty mighty blows, and Selwyn more than a little hurt as well from their stony claws.
I feel fine.
Gargoyles are no joke. Pretty angry boys. So, everyone in the chats, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the absurd amount of support you have thrown the party today, who is fortunately all riding a humongous stack of hero points, heading into the final chapter of our first book. The show must go on, and next week it will. Through Aeon Tower to see what horrors lie below. Appreciate all y'all. Good night, everybody. Bye!
Bye.
Oh, hey, thank you for the follow, Frankenfeller, and thank you for all the follows and subs and support and everything throughout the stream. I know I don't shout them out while I'm going, because I'm not a huge fan. I'm coming to terms with it slowly. With the hero point thing, thanking people for stuff during the stream. I'm slowly coming around to it. Before we leave, while I got you guys, would you rather that I still thanked people for follows and subs and stuff while we're Pathfindering here, while we're doing Age of Ashes? Party and chat opinions. Both of you guys, give me these.
We've already got hero points. I mean, like, there's kind
I
of
think follow us might bring it up so much. I think
Yeah, it
subs
might
is
bring him
fine.
a little
Well,
bit.
it's not
too
like we get
yeah,
dozens
though.
of them a stream or anything.
Yeah.
Well, still, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't want to break up the flow of the show, but I also don't want people who are supporting us to go feeling unwelcomed and unwanted. We'll keep it how it is for now.
But we
I
love
like how
them.
we're going. We do love them, but I want them to know that we love them.
Oh,
We
I'm
will
telling
hopefully-
them right now.
See all of you guys next week. Same time, same place, 4 p.m. Eastern time for another episode of the Extinction Curse. And tomorrow, I'll be live here at 2 p.m. with Shemmy36 for some more Neo 2 co-op. You
Let's
ready
get
to
it.
get murdered a whole lot more times, my dude?
It's gonna be so.
It's gonna
free.
be great.
It's gonna be
All
free.
right. Good night, everybody.